And we're back with another week of Kyle and Corin. Kyle, what's the word?
Looking good, man. You got a haircut?
I got a fresh cut. So Jed came through
Oh,
yesterday
nice.
or 2 days
Nice.
ago, and he kind of blessed me. He was like, well, I was like, let's get the kids together. You haven't been over in a minute. So he came over, brought the kids. One, I needed to help, like, so the front of my house, if anybody owns a home, and like, you know this, there's always some shit to do. It's not like
It
there's
never ends.
ever a time where it's like everything's
Everything's
good.
good.
Like you buy a house and everything's good, the next day, four like 47 things will break. Your washer will all of a sudden like do some shit that's never done before. And the owner will be like, "Oh, it's weird. It's never happened in 50 years we lived here. I don't know. Good luck." So there's always some shit to do. So I was like, so last year I didn't really get too many weeds, but then this year, like the weeds were growing OD in my grass. So I had a gardener
Oh, in your grass.
in
So it
the
wasn't even in like the flowery area. It
well,
was in the
it was
grass
in like the
area.
flowery area, but also on my
Okay.
grass we get like these like it's like the long one. There's like a yellow flower looking shit,
Okay.
and then there's this long shit that literally I don't know. It grows in like less than a day, and the shit is like mad tall.
Bro, it's always the weeds always grow so much faster than everything else. Like we tried to plant these two flower trees last year.
Yeah,
They both died immediately. Like they're dead now. Like now we need to pay somebody to remove them.
yeah.
But the weeds, like you don't want weeds to grow, and they're like, "How about I grow into the biggest, most healthy thing you've ever seen?"
So it's like literally I'll chop it down, I'll cut the whole weeds, and the next day that shit is like, I'm back, motherfucker. Like same spot. And it's these tall little skinny shits that you can like pop out and they're the ones that like you blow and the like cotton or whatever the hell's on it like disperses. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the like little it's like a long ass stick, it looks like a lollipop, and then you blow it and all the pieces
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
fly.
yeah. I didn't know that was a weed. I just thought that was like a weird flower.
Well, it's some obnoxious shit that grows like in my yard. So there's that shit, but then I have like a flower bed spot with like dirt, and there was like weeds coming up from that. So I had a gardener remove all that shit, and then I had to mulch like three different areas. So like gardening's been a bitch, bro. I don't know if you've like ever tried to do anything, but that shit is fucking horrible.
So you're heavy on the lawn care now? Like you got to do lawn care stuff all the time now?
Kind of, and like it's to a point where I asked the gardener guy who like cuts my grass because I could cut it, but we had big ass trees in front of our house that we had removed, so we kind of have to like revive the grass. So I was gonna let him kind of just go to work and like plant some shit, but it's type expensive. So I was like, I could kind of do this shit. So I started doing it. I had him remove all of it, but I mulched all of it. And yeah, now I'm kind of in the thick of like I took a picture of my house, put it into Chat GPT, and basically was like, "Can you tell me what would look butter for my house?" And it hit me with like hydrangeas and like Chat GPT like crazy. I just took a picture of the front of my house, and it like showed me. Let me see if I can find the picture. It showed me like what to do with it.
Like
Look at
what
it.
kind of flowers to put in and stuff? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know
Look at
somebody
this
who
shit.
did that with their room. They were yeah.
Like
I
what
saw somebody who did that with their room,
crazy.
redecorating a room,
Yeah,
and it was like, "Show me what like furniture would look nice here." And it gave different like color options and stuff. So yeah, it can do stuff like that, but it also makes shit up sometimes. It makes shit up. There was a thing
see,
where
I
a
wouldn't
guy
know.
filed
I
a
believed
lawsuit.
everything from it so far.
There was a guy, so the My Pillow guy, who's
Oh,
like an
fuck that
election
guy.
denier.
Yeah.
Somebody filed a lawsuit on his behalf or submitted something to the court on his behalf, like he was sued, and this was his attorney's response, and it was made up. Like the shit, they cited cases that didn't exist.
Wait,
It's
so the
called.
My Pillow guy went to court and tried to Chat GPT like his
So
defense?
I think what happened was the My Pillow guy was sued,
Yeah.
and then he had to go to court to defend himself, and his attorney submitted like a response, like some written response that they had to submit,
Yeah.
and they used ChatGPT for the whole thing, and ChatGPT made up a bunch of laws and made up a bunch of cases that didn't exist.
It's kind of
So
gangster. That's kind of.
actually, to be fair, I don't know if it was ChatGPT or some other AI,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
was some AI program, and apparently it's a real problem. They call it hallucinations, where AI can just make some shit up,
Huh.
which is kind of scary because
I'm
like
trusting that
some
shit wholeheartedly that it's going to be right as fuck.
yeah, sometimes it gets stuff right. Like, you know, I've seen it get stuff right a lot. So for it to just sort of make stuff up on the fly, that's scary because that's some human ass shit. You know, like humans do that.
Yeah.
A human will make something up. You're expecting a machine to give you some straight truth.
Well, or at least put like it should be smart enough to put a footnote like, hey, this might not be accurate, or like this isn't a real
Right,
case.
something.
Like because deadass, anything I write in there, I'm trusting that whatever it's. I mean, granted, I haven't asked it for anything like too technical yet. It's kind of just been either like one of those joke meme cartoons or like the plant thing
Right.
or help me write an email. For all that stuff, it's been kind of butter, but um for the My Pillow guy, like I don't know if you saw this, but Shannon Sharpe was like issuing an apology for his shit, and his lawyer must have texted him the response, and he just screenshotted it and put it
I
out.
saw that. I
So
saw
like,
that.
it's hard. Like sometimes you want to take. Like I've done this before. Like my sister has helped me like write some emails, and I'll just like copy and paste her whole thing, and sometimes I'll send it off, and it'll still be like notes from her at the top that's like change this shit here, and I'll just copy it.
What do you make of the Shannon Sharpe shit? Because I did a little bit of a dive on it the other day. I watched a couple videos on it from some YouTubers I like, some
Yeah.
basketball YouTubers I like. And so I don't really know what to make of it because there's a couple things that seem true. One of the things that's true is that this lawyer really is a
Yeah.
total like
Must
scumbag
be.
fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he like sued Jay-Z, and that case went up in flames like immediately.
Yep.
Like this guy's known to be like to sue a lot of famous people and shit, and usually there's no there.
Yeah.
So that part is true. But then I heard the released audio of what he said to her, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's hard to come up with a scenario where that's not crazy, talking about choking her and shit like that.
Yep.
But then somebody else said, one of the videos I watched, they said that clip was super edited.
Yeah.
Right? And Shannon Sharpe's argument is like, yeah, we did kinky stuff, but it was all consensual, and she liked getting choked or whatever, but it was all consensual. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it. I have no idea what to make of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's my thing, and I heard one of my friends say this, and he was like, and he's got a daughter that's 18 or something like that, and he was like, if that was my daughter, I'd beat the hell out of Shannon Sharpe. One, and two, whether or not on Monday she says yes to doing that weird freaky stuff, but on Tuesday she says no to doing that stuff. Tuesday it's a no, dog. So like whether or not you've been doing that shit 100 times and then the 101st time she says no, and you're just like, hey, like we've been doing this, you got to respect the no regardless of when it comes. And like people have been kind of calling him out saying like you're entering the weary zone anyway when you're like reaching out to a 19-year-old OnlyFans girl to like start a relationship.
See,
that's
the thing. Like even for argument's sake, let's say when he says everything was fully consensual, let's say that's true.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she's 19 years old and you're 50 something years old, and the fact that you know she's like an OnlyFans girl,
Yep.
and you're this like
IG
creepy celebrity who's just trying to hit, like how do you not understand that this was gonna happen at some point?
Yep.
Where somebody was gonna, and that's me being kind to him and taking his story at face value that everything was consensual. If that shit wasn't consensual, then damn, you got to be locked up, man, because that shit was crazy. Like that, the audio recording I heard was disturbing.
Yeah, it was like getting choked out by a big black man or something. Like it doesn't sound good for him. And then like someone else was saying like, when you have to come out with an apology, basically saying like release the whole sex tape and not just 30 seconds.
I saw that. How crazy is that? He was like, "You're only gonna release a little bit of it. I want you to release the whole thing." Like, yo.
He was like, release 10 minutes. I was like, damn, 10 minutes, dog. All right, that's just really respect.
But did you see that clip of Monique, the black female comedian, like
on his show,
telling
right?
Shannon Sharpe, like, listen, baby, you need to get yourself a big old fat woman. She gonna rub your feet. She gonna make you some grits in the morning. She's gonna give you a drink. She's gonna love you, baby.
Yep.
Stop be messing around with these little white girls, or whatever she said.
Yep. No, she was spot on, and it's kind of weird. I mean, even like when you cover stories about this stuff of like, what was it, like a Minnesota congressman or something that was like talking about like pedophiles, but then got caught with like a child, or something like that.
Bro, shit like that happens all the time with Republican politicians and like
it's
Christians.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's always funny when like, well, not funny, it's sad, these stories, but like when someone is so proactively either against something or tweets something out or puts something out like for a certain cause, and then they get caught up doing exactly whatever they said they weren't for. Like, so he's there in that moment with Monique, probably like, haha, yeah, yeah, they need to stop with these little white girls, like, and then he gets caught. The only thing that like is like weird, and not weird, but like to your point, that lawyer, there's no criminal charges, so it's just
It's a
whatever,
civil case.
civil
Yeah, they
case.
want money, I guess.
So she
Yeah.
just wants money. But also to your point, like on the surface of it, any of those situations, like Anna Nicole Smith dating some old ass guy, like
Right.
it's always gonna end in some shit where they're trying to get money from you. They're trying to like kind of just do whatever. Like the one that's really catching my eye right now, and I don't know if you've kind of seen any of these things, is Bill Belichick and his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, so Crystal just showed right before we did this, Crystal showed me a video and it was like he was doing some interview
60 Minutes.
and then his girl was what in the corner and they asked her some shit and she's like, I'm not saying anything.
So to even back it up even further, she's like, I mean, Bill Belichick is like, is epitome? Is that like the
That's yep, that's the word.
of like very bland, very monotone, one word answers. No, never had Instagram, never was in the spotlight. Whenever you would do a press conference, it'd be like, one word answer, shut it down, keep it moving, and that's how he rocked. And like people respected that because that's always how he was. He was dry. Um, and then randomly over the summer, he had like this video go viral of him like sneaking out of some girl's like beach house. And then it found out that it was like a super young girl. And I don't know if that was the same girl that he's dating now. It might be. But like that video came out and everybody was kind of clowning him as like an old man, like, staying out late with like a young girl. Then he started dating this girl who like turned out to be very like social media, very like flashy, very in your face, and kind of was like making posts with him of like he's on the beach holding her up with her feet and like
I saw that picture. Yeah,
like doing
yeah.
all weird shit that you're like, what, like what do you,
Like, this isn't even you.
that's not
Yeah.
even you. So now she's like on the field at University of North Carolina where he's coaching and kind of controlling like press and media and out, like walking around the field shaking hands with people and like all these flashy outfits. And then the video came out yesterday of 60 Minutes where he's giving an interview and like he's going to answer questions and she's like, Bill, don't answer that. Like the guy was like, so how'd you guys meet? Basic ass question. She's like, we're not talking about that. And the guy like shot it down. She didn't like they didn't answer that question. So it's just, I mean, like I respect like if you fall in love, whatever, that's cool, but it's just a weird dynamic with Bill Belichick and this like young ass girl who's now like the total opposite of what it's if you've known somebody forever being one type of way and now they're different, it's kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
hold on, what's going on?
Honestly, it sounds to me like some super horny old man shit. Anytime there's like a really old dude and he ends
Super
up
young.
dating some super young girl who's let's say 20 years old or
Yep.
whatever and he's like 55 or whatever. Anytime that happens, like it literally is just the dude is some like super horny old dude who's just like looking for some woman who is younger and attractive that'll have sex with him.
Yep.
And then that's where you get all the baggage that comes from that. And it's like, come on, man, by the time you're 55, 60, like really, at that point, if you're still thinking with your dick, like that's kind of embarrassing.
But
You
like,
know what I'm saying?
but it's one thing to like find a young chick and you date her. But the shit, like she'll post on Instagram, like she made him strawberries and bananas, but put it in the shape of like a crab and like had him posing with a picture with it. And it's just like, if you're changing your whole 60 years of life of being this like stoic
Yeah,
figure now to like holding up a picture of strawberries and bananas looking like a crab because of this girl, like it takes me to like this whole Shannon Sharpe, Anna Nicole Smith thing where in 4 years or something it's gonna come out where like they get married or something and she takes all his money. Like it these usually don't end well.
definitely don't end well. Now, do you think he now is cool, like he kind of likes all the public shit, or is he just going along with it for the moment? Like that's the question, right? Like is she changing him, or is it that he's not changing but he's just going along with it because he only cares about one thing, which is happening in the bedroom?
Yeah, no, I mean that's a good ass question. I didn't even think of it like that. Like maybe he like wants to like be more, kind of just outgoing and whatever. And like maybe he's with her because she is kind of making him go out of his comfort zone and stuff like that. Like I appreciate in our relationship when Molly will say like, "Hey, do something, try something that you don't like to do or something like that." And I won't do that shit, but like I appreciate like I appreciate her like at least trying to get me to do that shit. And maybe he's a better man than me to actually like do it. But no, it's a good point. Maybe he like really enjoys doing this shit and that's what keeps him young or something like that. Hopefully when I'm 65 or something, I mean Molly will be that same age, but like hopefully I'm still posting on Instagram like corny ass photos and shit.
It's kind of funny, right? Because like everybody understands the laws around like you can't if you are, let's say, somebody's 25 years old and they're dating like a 16-year-old. That's not legal.
Yeah.
Right. Depends on the state, obviously, but usually the legal age is like 17 in the U.S., maybe 18 in some states. There's a handful where it might be 16, but in most states it's not legal if you're 25 to date like a 16-year-old
Yep.
or whatever. And everybody understands that, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. But then there is no like other rule or law that's like one person's 17 or 18 and the other person is 68.
That's
Like the idea is once you hit that age of consent,
then there's just
and
nothing.
then it's all, everything's fine. I would not be against the idea of like some like 25-year
Like an
cap
age gap.
or
Yeah,
30-year. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe somebody could talk me out of it, right? Like it's possible to talk me out of it, but my instinct right now is that if you're 80 and you're dating a 22-year-old,
That's too big of a gap. Yeah.
and because to your point, like in most of the scenarios where that happens, somebody's taking somebody for a ride.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not at all, it has nothing to do with love and mutual care for each other.
Right,
And
right.
like it is literally just like I'm shaking you down or whatever. Like there's always some angle like that. And so I don't know, man, it's kind of weird how the laws are in that way, because like all it is just here's the age of consent and everything above it is fine. But like, yeah, there's some shit that's a little too squirrely where it's like, really, this is what's happening right now? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, you look at every other thing. I mean, I'm thinking just kind of like wrestling is the first thing that comes to mind for me. And there's like different weight classes, like someone who's like, or boxing. You can't have like a heavyweight box of like what is it, a flyweight or something like
Yeah,
that.
there's
Like,
flyweight, featherweight,
yeah,
lightweight.
like there's
Yeah.
different, like, not that that guy's more advanced, but he has just a different like skill
He's in a
level
different weight class. Yeah,
and
yeah.
would destroy them. There's someone who's 80 who's like in a different, they're in a different class than a 20-year-old that like
Yeah.
they just don't, there's too much of a disconnect. And to your point, there should be like you have to hit the 25-year separance
Yeah.
to like to be able to be compatible.
Because relationships, if you really think about it, relationships are like, you have to connect on a mental level. Like, and part of connecting on a mental level is having like almost a shared upbringing and culture where you were kind of witnessing the same shit,
Yep.
experiencing the same
Yep.
shit. You know about the shit that was on TV. You know what video games came out. You know what songs were hot. Just like basic shit.
Yep.
And once you get to a gap, like that's 65-year-old and a 21-year-old, it's like, you got nothing,
Yeah.
bro. You got nothing.
Yeah.
One of you listens to like the Beatles and the other one is listening to Sabrina Carpenter. Like, what are we talking about? You're like 3 generations apart.
Yep.
How can that work? Like, how can that work? You guys got nothing to, you know what I'm saying?
No,
and
weird.
the idea of like opposites attract, some people say that, and I thought that made sense. But now that I'm older and more wise, I really feel like it's quite the opposite, that you need to have a partner who you share some basic like values with, you share some like cultural upbringing, history type shit with. And I don't know how a marriage can last if it's not built on that,
No.
because it's like you're just totally honestly, same thing with politics too. You don't have to have the exact same politics as your loved one, but you should be in the ballpark of that
Well, you were
shit,
always
right?
confused, and I was super confused when I found out. I think like when I first learned about it, we were at Politicon, and James Carville was there, and you were like, his wife is like super opposite of like his shit, right? And I was like, wait, what? I was like, because he's like always been super Democrat, like, is he left, like very
No, he's like a centrist
centrist.
Democrat, but his wife is like a hardcore Republican.
And
And
I
so,
think even like when we were in Nashville or something, I was like, how does that work? You know, like how does that? Isn't there isn't there, or is the guy on the Supreme Court justice? Is his wife like the same, like a Trump supporter or something?
yeah, his wife is like a psycho, a crazy like she was involved in January 6th and all
Yeah.
sorts of shit. Like she's way more crazy than even him, and he's crazy as fuck.
He's which one is that again?
Clarence Thomas.
And
It's his Clarence Thomas's wife. Yeah.
he was like accepting money from people on boats and stuff like that, right? And then like nothing ever came of that with his wife being like a crazy Trump supporter, right?
No, and he didn't even recuse himself from any of the cases that like it would entail that. Like usually you're supposed to say I'm gonna step down because I'm too closely linked to this. He doesn't do that for anything. He doesn't. They don't do it for any of the companies they take money from or the billionaires they take money from. It's nothing. It's just so corrupt. Everything about it is so corrupt.
So wild. And then yeah, Carville and his wife. I don't know. I mean, like he's still out there doing his thing, right? Like he wears his LSU
Yeah,
shit everywhere, kind of
I
just
think
doing shit.
he might literally be 80 years old by now. But yeah, he records podcasts and shit and goes on TV and gives his opinion.
You were on a panel with him, right?
I was on a panel with him. Yeah, I remember that.
Was he like
I remember
nice, or
that.
did you like get to talk to him for a second after or whatever?
I didn't really get a chance to talk to him one on one. But he strikes me as sort of like a very. He kind of sounds obnoxious with just like the tone of his voice and stuff,
Like,
and he's a very to the point guy.
Yeah,
Which I respect the to the point shit, but I just think his politics are from a different era. I think he's like a little bit of a dinosaur in today's day and age.
and he worked with Clinton, right?
Yeah, he helped get Clinton elected. Yeah. I don't know if it was 92 or 96 or both, but he worked on one or both of those campaigns and helped him win.
Damn, good for him, bro. I mean, he was one that I remember when he was in old school, he had me like, I was like, oh, that guy must be very smart. And I like just remember seeing him like wear sports attire, and he was like the like pre John Fetterman or whatever, wearing his shit on like whatever he went on, just wearing like a bright ass yellow shit. And I was like, oh, that guy's cool. He's wearing some sports shit, but I never understood or like what he was saying. So I guess kids like just on the optics of like politicians, maybe they see Fetterman now and they're like, oh, that guy's cool. He's just wearing a hoodie in Congress. I like him.
So they just did a poll on like the most liked Democrats.
Yeah.
Fetterman was tied. Oh, you're gonna love this. Fetterman was tied for last.
Oh shit.
He's the most hated. You know who is tied with him? This is amazing.
Who?
You're gonna love this. Stephen A. Smith.
Of disliked?
Disliked. He's the most. They were like, I want to say they were like minus 11 among Democrats. So like they were more disliked than they were liked.
Good.
And I think number one was I think Bernie and AOC, or like they were way up there.
Good.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. There's polls and all this shit always comes out, but they're constantly on TV, constantly getting big contract. Like I can't turn on ESPN, and I'm sure every other CNN, MSNBC, it's all people that if they were voted are despised. Like nobody likes them, but like I think they keep getting gigs. It's just bad.
You're talking about the sports commentators keep
sports
getting on air,
commentators and even like political commentators. It's people that like what's his name? Wolf Blitzer. I'm sure people don't like that motherfucker.
Yeah, well, he's just a host. He's got no political ambition, so like it doesn't really matter. He's sort of like a bland news reader guy. Like he just reads the teleprompter. But are you saying that like because they're on TV all the time, that means that they have staying power, and in the long run, people vote for them because they're always present?
Yeah, they just get forced upon us, and like even these polls come out, and it's like we don't like them, and they're like, okay, we're gonna give them 5 more shows. And it's like, no, we want the opposite. We want them off the air and put someone that we like on the air. Like Rachel Maddow is probably still doing her shit too, right?
She's very liked by Democrats. Yeah, she's very liked. She has the most popular show on MSNBC right now.
Oh,
and look, to be fair, I've watched a little bit of MSNBC recently, and they're so much better this term than they were the first Trump term.
Oh, really?
Like, I really think they're focusing on really important shit. Like, they're talking about the right shit. They're talking about the trade war. They're talking about Trump deporting innocent people. So they're doing a good job. But I think that in this moment, I really don't think it matters in this moment who they try to force feed us, because I don't think it's going to work this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they were able to force feed us when it came to Hillary. They were able to force feed us when it came to Biden. Like, there were instances where Democrats felt like the safest way to beat Trump is to go with the tried and true politician who's been known forever. Let's go with Hillary. Let's go with Biden. But right now what you're seeing is that, like, all of the energy is with Bernie and AOC and those sorts of people. All the energy is with the people who are like fighting and out there giving rally speeches in red states and trying to like fight against Trump and shift the energy in the direction of this country politically.
Yeah.
And that's why even on MSNBC, when I was watching it, they were singing the praises of Bernie and AOC. They
Yeah.
were like, why are none of these other Democrats fighting? Why is Chuck Schumer so weak? Bernie and AOC are the ones who are leading the way. So it really is a new era. Like, I really think, I never would have said this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but right now, she really is positioned to be one of the favorites to win the 2028 primary for Democrats. Like, it's a totally new time, and she's one of the most popular, and I think she's only going to get more popular.
I also think, and I could be totally wrong, but I also think they don't have a clue of what else to fucking do. So it's almost just like, let's just go where the people are going right now.
So yes and no. They're going to try to force feed, like Chuck Schumer handpicked this Senator Alyssa Slotkin to be like, oh, she's the future. She's a rising star in the Democratic Party. She gave the response to Trump's State of the Union address.
Okay.
But like, she failed miserably. But they will try to force somebody like that on us, right?
Are they going to try and bring Buttigieg back around?
Yes, they want to bring him back around, but he's I would say he's sort of in the middle between the AOC and Bernie wing and like the Alyssa Slotkin centrist wing. Like, the real bad ones are Alyssa Slotkin is bad. Rahm Emanuel wants to run. He's really bad.
Yeah.
There's some like that, but you know, Buttigieg is sort of like in the middle between those two. Like, he understands
he's not as bad as he used to be.
It's a tough question. It's hard to tell, right? It's hard to tell. He's saying a lot of the right things now. He seems to understand how big of a threat Trump is. I think ultimately he is a careerist and he just cares about like being in the White House.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's a tough question to answer. Maybe he is a little bit better than he was before.
Yeah.
But he's sort of splitting the difference between the different wings of the party. But I really think that the energy is going to be with the fighters. Like, your former governor, J.B. Pritzker, he's fighting like a motherfucker now. People are loving him now.
Yeah.
Tim Walz is still out. People love him now, too. Like, these are the people who are sort of rising up through the ranks. Gavin Newsom fell off hard because he tried to suck off some Republicans on his podcast.
That podcast really fucked him over, right?
It really fucked him over. Like, people were fucking furious about that because he did this whole bullshit about, like, we need to have conversations with Republicans. But then he brings them on the podcast and they fucking run over him for 3 hours straight, just, like, shitting on him relentlessly and destroying him in a debate. And he just plays patty cakes with them. And that shit, it's not the era for that. Right now, people are angry. They're pissed off. They want somebody who's really going to, like, fight hard.
Yeah.
And so it really backfired on him.
I'm holding. I mean, I wish they went with the momentum back when Bernie was like Bernie and back in his shit. Like when I went to one of his rallies and I was like rocking for him. Like when the bird landed on his shit, I was like, you can't you can't script this shit any better for this motherfucker. And the fact that like they just put all the powers against him was unfortunate. But it seems like, to your point, maybe the executives. I just saw a clip. It was like the closing, I think, of 60 Minutes also, where I think it was like the executive producer or someone like was resigning because
this was a big deal.
Right?
He was resigning because
like Paramount was buying out or some shit.
So Paramount is trying to have a merger, and the merger would need to be approved by the Trump administration. So they were basically like, hey dog, you want to like lay off just a little bit? Like, stop being so aggressive. And he was basically like, I can't, like, I'm doing my job. Like, I'm just following the stories, following the facts, doing my job here. And so he resigned, and he basically warned everybody, like, we're not free anymore at 60 Minutes to tell the truth type shit. And then the guys at 60 Minutes, at the end of the last 60 Minute show, the host, Scott Pelley, basically called out the parent company and called out the owner and was like, these people are trying to have a merger, and it needs to get in front of the Trump administration, and that's why our boss, who we all love, resigned, and it's a real shame he's gone, but don't worry, he instilled the right values in us. So that's them saying, like, we're going to keep doing the shit right, but eventually they're going to hire some boss who fucks everything up and who, makes them way weaker and way dumber than they are now.
Well, he came out and said that, and I saw, and again, I'm basing this off of just the clip I saw, but it also made me think, and I don't always like to agree with all the stuff that like Trump puts out in these videos, but like when Kamala Harris was on there, didn't they like edit that shit OD to make her look kind of good? And then he's on this last final segment saying like, everything we say is true and we don't unscript anything and we put it all out there. And then I like vividly remember when Kamala was on there, like they chopped out, well, this was like a video I saw on Trump's page, but they trumped out, like they cut out mad clips and made it so like her answers were stopped before she started sounding pretty stupid. And I was like,
So
that guy definitely did some shit where he was like editing stories to make politicians sound better than like they really were.
so they released after Trump was complaining.
Yeah.
They released the whole shit.
And wasn't it
They
like
released it.
she looked kind of, she didn't look great in the interview.
I mean, they edited it, but they always edit shit.
Yeah.
And he's literally trying to sue them for editing it.
Oh, Trump was trying to sue 60 Minutes.
Oh, he's suing them because of it.
Oh, so you already know if he's in control. It's crazy that he's in control of the sale of Paramount and he's going to be like,
and that's why the owner,
like, hey,
that's why the owner is like,
yeah,
first of all, the owner wants to make a deal with him and pay him millions of dollars.
yeah, it's crazy.
The owner is like, hey, I know you're suing us. I know you're not happy with us. I know you don't like how we edited that interview. Let's make a deal. I'll pay you millions of dollars. And she's trying to get 60 Minutes to lay off of him. So she cares more about the business than she does. She cares more about money than she does about like 60 Minutes telling the truth, right? But that's what Trump, bro. Did you know Trump not only sued over that interview, he sued because of a poll he didn't like. Do you remember this?
No.
So there was a that famous Iowa poll that came out. So usually the Iowa poll comes out right before the election.
Yeah.
And it has a track record of being a really good poll. Like, it's usually pretty fucking accurate, right? And so the woman, Ann Selzer is her name. She's like legendary in the polling business and legendary in Iowa. So she releases the poll. I forget, it's like a few days before the election that they released the poll. That shit had Kamala +4 in Iowa, which a Democrat hasn't won Iowa since Barack Obama.
Yeah, I remember, I remember you telling me.
So when that shit came out, first of all of us were gassed up. We were like, oh shit, it's happening. Trump is going to lose, all that stuff, right? Then Trump ended up winning Iowa by like 10 points in the election, right? Which also, by the way, it's kind of sketchy, right?
Some funky business?
Well, that fucking poll has a track record of being so accurate for so many election cycles, and they've been right when other pollsters have been wrong.
Yeah, so some weirdness maybe went down.
But Trump, after he won the election, he filed a lawsuit against that woman for her poll. Like, he sued her because he didn't like the poll. And it's like, you dumb bitch. Even let's say it was a fake poll, which it's not, but let's say it was a fake poll. How do you think that would help Kamala? If anything, it's the opposite. People would see that Kamala's leading by 4, and they'll be like, I'm not even going to bother to vote because I think Kamala's going to win my state anyway, so I'll just stay home. If anything, it would suppress Democratic vote.
Yeah. And,
you know what I'm saying?
Republicans would come out and be like, we got to bring out more droves of people.
Right, exactly. So even like, he hates the media. Like, he hates anybody who disagrees with him and calls him out on his bullshit. Like, he's trying to silence everybody. This is what he's doing with law firms. This is what he's doing with universities. You saw, he's literally trying to take over Harvard.
Yeah, I saw it.
He's trying to take them over. He's saying, I want to have a quota of the number of MAGA professors you have there. I want all these professors to agree with me. I want to get rid of this course. I want to get rid of that course. I want to put you under like a federal conservatorship where the federal government gets to pick the classes and all. It's like, what are we talking about here? This is psycho. This is fascist shit.
And this is just, what was it, like maybe yesterday? This is just 100 days in, right?
100 days in, and I don't know if you saw, I just covered this on my show, but Trump just broke the record for being the most unpopular president in polling history at 100 days. He's all the way down now at 39% approval rating, and he's underwater in every category. So, like, usually the one where he was always doing well, no matter what was going on, he was always over water on immigration.
Yeah.
But now, with the Kilmar Abrego Garcia shit, with sending people with no due process, I just covered, they literally deported a 2-year-old American with cancer.
Wow. How?
Because they don't give a fuck, bro. They're like, it's literally like the Gestapo. ICE is like the Gestapo. ICE is immigration and customs enforcement. They're like the immigration police. They are rounding up innocent people and sending them to a concentration camp in El Salvador. Like, they are Trump stormtroopers. And even when judges are like, do you have a warrant? They've gone into courtrooms and grabbed immigrants from courtrooms.
Just straight.
And the judge is like, do you have a warrant? And they're like, no. Or we have an administrative warrant, but not a judicial warrant, which is not a thing. There is no such thing as like, that's made up. And so Trump is arresting judges now, bro. He
I didn't see
arrested a
that.
judge. He arrested a judge, dog. A judge who was just doing her job.
How is that even possible? Like, what? They just walked into the
So here's what
courthouse?
happened. The judge told this immigrant, because she's an immigration judge, he said, look, after this hearing, and I'm giving you more like, this is more the Trump version of the story, right? Her whole story is way more detailed and way more accurate.
Yeah.
But she told this immigrant, hey, after the hearing is over, I'm going to let you go out the side door. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I know that Immigrations and Customs Enforcement is right outside the courtroom door waiting for you to walk out to take you. Now, the reason she did that is because these ICE agents don't even give a fuck what the ruling of the judge is.
Yeah, they're taking regardless.
So if the judge says your case is dismissed,
they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck. They'll steal you anyway. And you know where a lot of these people are ending up in El Salvador, right? Like, you know that these people have no process and they're going to El Salvador. So she was like, go out the side door. So they went out the side door. Then the FBI came and arrested her. And they did this fascist fucking photo shoot where she's got the handcuffs on and shit. You're putting handcuffs on a judge?
She's in her shit?
What do you think she's going to do? Attack you?
Is she in her like...
I don't remember if she was in her judge stuff or not, but the FBI fucking arrested her, bro. This is like, if people don't realize what this is, man, I don't know what to tell them, because once they start arresting judges, like,
yeah,
they'll arrest anybody. Like, they will. It'll really get to the point of like thought crimes.
Yeah.
ICE said the people in that Virginia courtroom who were like calling them out when they were trying to arrest somebody from a courtroom, they were like, anybody who gets in our way, we'll arrest you. So like, if you disagree and say, where's your warrant or whatever, they said, we'll arrest you. Like,
yeah, it's nuts. I mean, it takes it back to when they had to clear the street for Trump to take his photo op in front of that church. And they straight were just like bulldozing people out of the way.
Yep.
I mean, that was scary. And now they're just doing that shit kind of throughout the country. That was just so he could get down the street to get to a church.
In retrospect, we were lucky, dog, because at the time, at that exact time, Trump wanted to invoke the Insurrection Act, which was deploying the U.S. military in our own streets to go against our own people. And he wanted to shoot protesters in the leg. And the only reason that those things didn't happen is because at the time, you had some more reasonable people around him who were like, one of his generals was like, we're not doing that. He was like, I want to send the U.S. troops in our streets. And a general was like, we don't do that. We don't send the American military in our own streets. That's not what we do.
Surprised he listened to that dude.
It was his first term, right?
Yeah,
now, look at everybody who's around him. You got Pete Hegseth, an abusive, drunk, alcoholic fucking freak who was a Fox News weekend host.
That clip of him throwing the hatchet thing and hitting a dude.
Yeah.
If I was that guy, I don't know how that got into like all of Fox News.
I know.
For their whole shit.
Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he did. I haven't.
Hopefully he did, because if he didn't, sometimes they do that at a baseball game. You'll get like hit with a bat and they'll try to give you like a care package of a signed ball or some shit. I'm like, fuck that. I'm coming for like the Yankees' whole salary. like,
give me 20 mil. That's what I wanted.
That
20
dude got
mil.
hit with a damn machete shit.
Yep.
Have you ever been to like? I think that this phase is kind of fizzled out. You ever been to any of those places where you throw like an axe on the board or whatever?
We had a game where you do that. It's like you throw an axe and it sticks to a little like target thing. We had a game where you could do that.
Oh no, they have like these like it's like kind of like a pool hall, but like an axe throwing hall.
And you throw real axes?
I'm pretty sure you throw like.
Oh my god, bro!
You like stand in these little like. I think it's actually even open. Like I don't know how people don't die or like.
Oh my
some
god!
Shit, but you stand in like a hallway and you throw like a hatchet at the it's kind of like darts, but with a hammer or like some sharp ass shit.
That's crazy. I'm surprised people haven't died doing that.
That's what I'm saying. There's weird shit now. I don't know what happened in India or whatever, but there was a guy like zip lining, and was there like a terrorist attack and he was like zip lining over the terrorist attack?
I did not see this.
Oh, I think it like just happened today, but he was like zip lining, and there was like I think there was like a mass shooting, like so it's unfortunate, but like he was like zip lining, recording himself over this, and there was all these conspiracies of like the guy who let him go in zip line. I don't know. But there's like a whole bunch of weird shit now that even like gun ranges. I've never been to a gun range, but even that looks unsafe. Like when people don't know how to like shoot a gun, and they'll like turn around because they're excited, and then like you see the person next to them, like, no, you can't do that shit. Like,
One of the things you learn, and my dad, I was shooting guns from when I
yeah,
was
he was like a
younger.
deer
Like
hunter.
my dad taught me all that shit. One of the first things you learn is that you never, ever, ever point the gun at anybody,
Yeah.
ever. So it doesn't matter if it's loaded, unloaded, safety on, safety off. You never point the gun, and it's like the first thing you learn, bro. And then the other thing you learn is you have to, when you shoot it, a rifle, you got to slowly squeeze the trigger.
Mhm.
You can't ever like try to do it quick, like jerk it.
I heard there's like
Pause.
recoil, right? Like, doesn't it like come back and like jolt you like in
Depending
the
on
face?
depending on the rifle, yeah, it recoil is a real thing.
I would be
So if you
scared to
have
go
some,
like deer hunting, man. Like, I give your dad props for doing that shit, man, because I'm sure it's like peaceful and relaxing, and everyone who does it, like I know Rogan goes out and does it, like,
I've done it. I've done it before,
and did you like enjoy
and
it? Like, was it like,
so no, but I'll tell you why. First of all, we didn't get anything.
uh-huh.
Right. Second of all, I have a funny story from when I did this. So me and my dad went deer hunting. First of all, they wake you up at like 5:30 in the
Oh,
morning or some
OD.
crazy dumb shit.
Yeah.
And then we walked and sat. We had to sit in the woods wearing our camo shit, right? Waiting for a deer to come around.
And like soggy leaves
And
and shit like that.
yeah, and it was cold. It was like
Yeah.
a fall morning or something like that. And so I'm sitting there, and we probably sat there for like an hour waiting for a deer to come by, maybe more. And a deer didn't come by. So at some point, my dad whispers to me like, "All right, we gotta go to a different spot. Come on." And so then I go to get up to follow him to go to a different spot, and I start freaking out because my legs
Oh, or no.
fell asleep.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like 12 degrees outside, and I was sitting on my own legs for like an hour or 2 hours. When I tell you, my legs
Well,
didn't work. I mean, dog, I was starting to think, no, I might literally never walk
that's
again.
a scary feeling.
Bro, do you have any idea when your mind goes, okay, go ahead, move? And then my legs, not even a flinch, dog. My shits were just rock, just sitting there, totally fucking not moving, not even a little bit.
You could probably like break your whole leg in 2 seconds on some shit like that if you're just like, let me
Bro,
stand up.
so I start, of course, I don't know how old I was, maybe 12 or 13, whatever the fuck I was. So I start flipping out. I'm like, Dad, my legs don't. And he looks at me, he's like, shh.
You can fucking
I
ruin
was
my
like,
dream.
bro, fuck the deer. My legs don't work. So I literally had to sit there for like, I don't even know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and had to rub my legs up and down until I could get enough like blood going in there. Sometimes that in the
That's
middle,
scary.
does this happen to you? Sometimes in the middle of the night, like let's say I fall asleep and my arm is like under Crystal's pillow and she's sitting on the pillow, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and my arm will be so asleep that I gotta like sit there like this for like fucking 5 minutes
But it's like
after that.
jello, like you're just moving it, and like it's moving the same way as if they're like your shit was moving correctly, but it just feels like a piece of like jello, like,
Yeah, just not your arm. It's not your arm. You gotta sit there like doing this to fucking get it
yeah.
right.
Well,
That happens to me way too much, man. I feel like it happens to me once every like 2 weeks. That shit'll happen.
yeah, I feel like that's happened to me too, and it's like your arm is just dead weight. And so like I'll try and reach for something
Yes.
on my counter and feel like it's like 200 tons that I'm lifting up to like smack onto my counter. But to your point, if you lose both of your legs and then you still try to
Oh my
like
god.
stand up, it's weird how your body like you're kind of
Panic.
like paralyzed or like in that moment.
It is straight panic. My
Yeah.
brain just went full panic mode.
Well, because
You
low-key, if
know?
your body can like, if my arm can fall asleep or numb in that moment like that, where I just lose all like, what's stopping it from like just being like, nah, we're just gonna permanently like keep your shit like that,
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
you
And
know?
there are times at night where I've had it so my arm was real like I literally had to mess with it for like 5 minutes before I got my arm working again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there are times I was like, oh my god, I think I really I've had to wake up sometimes. Like I was woken up because my arm was so dead. And then I had to like sit there and just try to find a way. There are times Crystal's woken up in the middle of the night and looked at me, and I'm sitting there like,
She
And
thinks you're like at a rave in your
yeah.
dream or something, like fist pumping. But it
But
makes
that
me
shit is scary, man. That shit is
super
scary as
scary.
fuck.
But it makes me think too, like if your body has the power to do that, if your leg is broken or like Dame Lillard just tore his ACL, like why can't they tap into that shit where like whatever happens to my arm when it goes numb, like why can't you just do that to my leg when it's broken or some shit and make it come back? Like,
Remember Kobe after he tore his
yeah.
Achilles? He literally was trying to massage it back in place.
Yeah, he was
You
like
remember that?
stomping his foot out, right? Or something like
He took his hands and he started to try to like massage the Achilles to like drag it back in place. Man, I felt horrible for Damian Lillard. Is it verified now? Was it an Achilles?
yeah, it tore his
Oh,
shit. Yeah.
and he just had a blood clot in
Yeah.
his other leg.
Yeah.
And he came back early too.
Yeah.
Remember, they said he was supposed to be out for 6 months or whatever. He was like, I got to come back for the playoffs.
Yep.
Like, I got to try to help him out. And his fucking Achilles goes, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so bad for him. He was so good for so long, and now, Bobby said in our group chat, he was like, career over
Yeah,
at
it's
that point.
definitely
It's like,
when you see
because
that,
a guard at that age,
it's
what is he, 34 or something like that
yeah,
now?
maybe even older. I think he's like probably, yeah, maybe 34. He's up there.
Poor
And
guy.
he was definitely at the tail end of his career anyway, like kind of maybe had like 2 years left, 2, 3
He was
years.
still putting up numbers, but him and Giannis have no help.
No help. Giannis is probably going to be out of Milwaukee if they lose to
Gotta
Indiana.
be, right? Gotta be, because the Bucks got nothing going forward. They got nothing. They got no
Nothing.
picks.
When they
Their team is trash.
Yeah, they when they like I said when they traded for Kuzma, it kind of was on some like I don't think
Desperation shit.
desperation, but Kuzma's never been good
Yeah,
as
they were hoping for 2020 Kuzma where he got a chip with LeBron, but even the only reason he was good is because he was playing with LeBron.
Yep.
When he was with the Wizards, he was ass cheeks,
cheeks.
dog.
He was more like just worried about his fashion and style and all that shit.
I know. He always has the funniest outfits, that big ass
Bro.
pink sweater.
The pink sweater was like he was the first to like his sleeves went down to the floor with that sweater. And we would always clown on Kuzma, but like I don't know, some of the outfits that the guys are wearing now, I just saw like one of the Draymond Green was going after one of the players on the Rockets because he paints his nails and was kind of just calling him out in the game for painting his nails and like it's whatever, do whatever you want to do. I just found it funny, and then some of the outfits that the guys wear nowadays is so different from just like if I'm a basketball player, like just give me some sweats and like a hoodie, and I'm just gonna show up to the game in that shit.
So, but don't they make you dress up more than that now? Remember they put that rule into place in
I
like the
think
2000s?
they've like loosened up on that.
They loosened that?
Yeah,
Okay.
where I think now people can like if you show up in your team's kind of just like sweat gear, you're fine. But there was a moment where after Allen Iverson, they changed the dress code to like some like you got to wear some formal shit.
You got to wear a suit. It was after Allen Iverson that you got to wear a suit. And I know the guys have been debating on NBA on TNT that the coaches should have to wear suits.
Yeah.
Because now a bunch of coaches don't wear suits.
Yeah, they're
and that's like I
back.
feel like that's a recent shit. Like that happened kind of recently that the coaches don't wear suits.
Yeah. I think it was during the bubble, like where they started wearing collared shirts and kind of more slacks and like Lululemon pants and stuff like that. I'm fine with that. Like I think it's weird when a baseball manager who's like 80 years old is wearing a baseball uniform. I'm kind of like,
Yeah, that shit is weird as fuck.
like
that shit's because you look so stupid. First of all, the pants are too tight. Second of all, we could all see your big ass pot belly and your pancake ass.
yeah, like your nuts
nobody
are
wants
like
to see
hanging
this.
out, like, and it's like we know the manager's not going to get out there and play just in case like they need an extra first baseman or something. Like, imagine a football coach or even a basketball coach like wearing a uniform to coach, like Bill Belichick standing on the sidelines in like full,
Postra wearing a fucking Heat jersey. Oh my god,
like Thibodeau wearing a Knicks uniform to coach.
Oh my god,
and it's just like, nah, he's just part of the team, like just in case. Like, I don't get why baseball has their manager wear like a uniform, like it's like some shit. No other sport has their guy like. So yeah, so I'm cool with like wear whatever. Like if you could get your job done wearing whatever the fuck you want to wear, like when you do a show, yes, you look better when you're wearing like a sport coat or some official shit, but you also look just as good when you're wearing some regular shit. Because if people are just listening to you for what they want to hear, then who the fuck cares what you're wearing?
Yeah, it's all about the reason to dress up is to just send a message.
Yeah.
The message being, this is real, this is professional, and I'm the boss.
Hmm. True.
That's like the idea if you dress up. So I kind of get it for the basketball coaches because when the coaches did wear suits, it kind of felt like,
Yeah.
oh, they're like that. Like Pat Riley is serious. Like he's a serious dude and he's doing a serious job and he takes it seriously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So like I kind of get it from that perspective. But to your point, like if you're gonna, it almost makes the suit even more special then because if you're actually wearing it, then it feels like, oh no, they really are in charge type shit. Right. Like I always wear, I wear the button downs and I wear sport coats. But recently I started wearing some ties too.
Oh, nice.
And it's weird. There's a mental switch that flips once you put the tie on and once you're looking like really proper. And that mental thing is like, because again, it sends a message. So somebody who's coming across my videos for the first time, they might be like, oh shit.
He's
like,
taking this shit seriously.
This is real. Like he's giving me real shit.
Yeah.
And I always had, like I said, I wear the sport coat and the button down either way, which is almost like half a suit, right? Which sends a message. But it's just next level once you put on that tie and make it look super official,
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And that goes back to the Fetterman shit. It's kind of like if you're looking sloppy, then like everything else you're doing is sloppy, So like if you take the time to wake up, throw some official shit on, then I'm like, all right, he's about this shit. Whereas like if you're in there in a hoodie and whatever, I'm like, he's in a hoodie mentality, everything else he does. If the shit that is most important,
right,
he's still rocking his hoodie. So yeah, I'm kind of team like wear some official shit. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm kind of like recording videos steadily, but the ones that I have, I've kind of been wearing a hoodie. Maybe I should kind of step my game up a little bit and wear at least a polo or
it depends.
something.
With the type of videos you do, I think it's totally fine.
Yeah, that's true.
To dress on some normal shit, right? But like, think about it. Even in public, if I'm wearing a suit and tie, and I'm wearing
people are going to
some
take
official,
way more official
business shoot, yes, you will not. If especially, and it's sad to say, but it's true. Especially if you're a white dude in a suit, there's just this default like, oh,
yeah,
they must be. You know what I'm saying? And so, and you'll be given even on some shit of like. Let's say you get pulled over for speeding or whatever. If you're wearing a nice suit, they're more likely.
Respect.
They're more likely to be like, "All right, I'll give you a warning,"
yeah.
even though they might swear up and down that that's not the case. But in reality, like everybody sort of reacts to basic social signals, and that's a signal of like, hey, dog, listen, you don't know, but I might have the power to call your boss right now and be like, this dude was fucking with me, and you might be in trouble. Like, there's sort of a message that's underlying with it, and it's kind of unfair, but also at the same time, it's sort of like an easy life hack too.
Yeah.
If you want to do it and you do it, then it's sort of like an automatic upgrade type shit,
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and that's like weirdly one thing that as I'm thinking right now, like kind of for Trump. I kind of respect it. Every morning that dude gets up and puts on like a suit and like his big ass tie, like fucking.
How long does it take him to do his hair? How long do you think it takes him to do his hair in the morning? Because he's had, I think they called it a scalp reduction, which is like an old school way they would like make it look like you're not bald when you're bald.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that wasn't the only. I think he had a number of hair surgeries.
Oh,
like
I'm more.
He did not want to go bald.
I'm more impressed of like his skin, like his tanning. Whoever has whoever has to see him in some undies standing there and spray tan him, that person should be getting paid a fucking dick ton of money because that job he definitely still wears tighty whities.
100%. Like 100%. All old white guys wear tighty whities.
Yeah.
And they like literally they need to understand like that's embarrassing. Like that's embarrassing.
He might even wear the tighty whities with the weird shit. They're kind of like, when like old school people used to wear like pants, but it's kind of like the string that goes up to your belt and it kind of looks like some chaps type of shit. You know what I'm talking about? It's like
I don't. Hold on, let me try to look it up.
It's like
what should I type in? Like old tighty whities?
No, just like you fuck. I'm trying to like
old style
it's almost
underwear
like
for men.
Like a holster that goes down to like your socks. I feel like it was like a It's almost like some tassels that go all the way down to your feet type of shit. But
What the fuck? For real? That's a thing?
I feel like it was. I can't explain it, and maybe I'm just making it up, but I feel like it was like I feel like it's like long black shit that people would wear under their pants for whatever maybe it kept their belt up or something like that. Or maybe I'm thinking of suspenders. Maybe it's the other way.
Well, all I know is that tidy whities, I mean, that it's just sort of embarrassing. Like everybody I know is either boxer briefs or boxers.
You don't think he wears some
And
boxer briefs?
Trump,
Yeah.
not a chance. 100%
Like
tidy
he's got to
whities, not
draw
a
just straight
chance.
tidy whities.
Straight tidy whities. Them they got shit stains on the back and stuff. Like it, bro. 100%. And like, look, I'll make the argument too. And I know you're a boxer brief guy, right?
Boxer briefs. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're a boxer brief guy. Bro, I will make the argument to anybody who will listen, straight boxers are better.
I know you're boxers, but I don't like the fluffy. Like it's too like it's there's too much potential for them to become too fluffy that like they get too like crunched up in my pants.
I hear you. I understand what you're like. I get it. I get that. But for me, like, if I wear tidy whities 100%, I can't do it. But even boxer briefs, bro, it is strangling my junk.
It does strangle, but yeah, it does strangle.
Like my shit needs to be free. Like it's gotta fucking like just chill and have some room. And the only thing that gives me room are the boxers.
There's one thing I respect about boxers versus briefs is like boxers are the fun version of briefs where like they're like every design, like it'd be some like monkey with bananas on it. There'll be like weird different colors. Like boxers are a cool version of briefs where they're just like, we're gonna get funky. There's gonna be Coca-Cola bottles on here. Where
Yeah.
briefs is like, we come in gray, we come in black, we come in blue, and regular white shit. But
Yeah,
boxers
that's
are
it.
like
That's it.
boxers are the fun version. So maybe I am missing out on that shit. But
Not only that, bro, I'll go one step further. Silk boxers. That shit is like heaven
I feel like
on your dick and balls, and it's just great. It's great.
I
It's
feel like
great.
silk would mess with me just too much. Like if I lay down, it feels like a cheat code to like some porn like type of like material rubbing against my junk where it would be too yeah, too pleasurable that it's like a cheat code. I don't even know. I haven't seen silk boxers in a minute, but that is kind of gangster. When I think
Bro.
silk boxer, I think of Gold Dust, the wrestler.
The wrestler, yeah, I remember that dude.
Um,
I wonder if we polled people, I would bet, I'm curious what you think about this. I would bet the market on boxers versus boxer brief versus tidy whities, I bet it would be, we're probably like 65 to 70% of people wear boxer briefs.
yeah, I like that number.
I'm gonna go, okay, so I'll go 60% boxer briefs, then I'll go 30% tidy whities and only 10% boxers. I think boxers are the least popular of them, but I think people are missing out.
Wait, you gave 10% to tidy whities?
No. 10% to boxers.
Oh, and how much
I
was
think
tidy whities?
tidy whities was 30%.
Oh, okay, I like that. Yeah, because I think there's a larger, older crowd
That's all tidy whities.
that's all tidy whities.
Yeah, so boxer briefs are definitely the most popular because it's like the comfortable middle.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Where you don't need to have the tidy whities just strangling your whole shit
Yeah.
and feeling bad. And it's not the full, like, just let your dick swang, bro. It's right in the middle. But I feel like my life mission might be to flip it so that it's like 60% boxers for people. If you're listening right now and you're a dude, do yourself a favor, go get some boxers, throw out your tidy whities, throw out your boxer briefs, just give it a shot, bro. I'm telling you.
And boxers are more acceptable to like kind of sleep in, and you can wake up and go to the kitchen and do some shit, and it still be kind of normal. If you wear some boxer briefs and wake up and walk around your house and try to do some shit, it's like, can you go put some pants on?
It's too much. It's too aggressive. It's too aggressive. But if you wear boxers, I mean, shit, you're only like 3 inches away from like, I'm wearing some short shorts, you know?
But boxers also has a potential for your junk to kind of slip out a little bit more, and you get hit with a ticket for like some indecent exposure.
So it depends. So some of the cheap boxers, like if you get like Walmart boxers,
Yeah.
what happens is the dick hole is not like cut properly.
Yeah.
So yes, in a scenario like that, the shit could just sort of open up on
Whoop.
you,
Yeah.
and that's terrible.
Yep.
So the trick is when you get the boxers, you got to sort of splurge a little bit and get the nice ones. Get like the more expensive ones. Get the ones that are legit with the dick hole, because some of them are great with the dick hole where you never have to worry about it popping out. You know.
I had a pair of Rugrats boxers that I bought from a thrift store like one time that were my favorite pair of boxers. And then now, if I were ever buy some boxers from a thrift store, it would be the most OD shit ever.
Yeah, boxers from a thrift store is a bold ass move,
It's a
bro.
Super Bowl. I'm surprised they even take that because they reject a lot of stuff now.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
totally.
know how boxers are still on that list.
I know, I know. That's to wear like Goodwill boxers.
No, that's kind of OD. I wanted to ask you because I've been seeing this. Did you see like that the White House now has like some new media seat or something like that? Is that a thing?
Yes, I covered that. So they gave Tim Pool was
Yeah.
in, and it was so embarrassing, bro. He asked like the worst question ever. He was like, "The media sucks and lies all the time. What do you have to say to the lying, sucking media?" And it's like, guys like Tim Pool give a bad name to all of new media. Like, you make us all look stupid and dumb and bad because you are stupid and dumb and bad.
Yeah, well, one, I wanted to give credit because I feel like it's a good idea to at least bring new media into the White House. But then on the flip side of that, I feel like everybody they're bringing in, and I only saw two people so far, but it was that guy Tim Pool, and then there was another guy, I think just today, that has like they said like 7 million followers. He might be from Florida too, but he asked some other question about like all of his Uber drivers are white now, and he was like praising Trump. But on the bad side of it is I feel like everybody they're bringing in for this new media seat is going to be super conservative, sucking off Trump, sucking off the Republicans, where they would never have someone like you who's like new media on the other side to ask them a legitimate question.
Bro, they straight up kicked out some outlets that they don't like. Like, they kicked the
Yes.
AP out
Yeah.
because the AP said, we're not going to call it the Gulf of America. We're going to keep calling it the Gulf of Mexico. And Trump was like, okay, I'm kicking you out of the press room. And so really what he's doing is they're like disguising it with, oh, we're bringing in new media voices. We're bringing in independent media. That's how they pitch it. But in
Which
reality,
on the
they're
surface is like
handpicking the biggest
no.
sycophants. It's good if you actually
Yeah.
were implementing the idea like you described it. If you were like, let me bring in independent media voices who are going to ask real questions.
Yeah.
But that's not. They're bringing in the biggest sycophants ever.
Yeah.
And so it's humiliating, and that's why I've gone so sour on new media. Like, it's basically a hellscape. There's only a few outlets that are actually doing really good work,
Yeah.
and most of them, like 80 to 90% of them, are just trash. I mean, it's at the point now where mainstream media is way better than new media. I don't even think it's close.
So what do you think it is? It's like they realize that there's an audience for people that are just like want to hear that Trump is doing well, and there's like what
They're
clicks and
propagandists, and so they
yeah.
want to spread their propaganda. And what better way to spread your propaganda than all of the questions being like, sir, you're so amazing and you're so incredible. How do you stay so young and so vibrant? How is your dick so big? How have you solved every problem within the first 100 days? And they
You get
realize that
access.
they get access. They bias it up front. That's their move. I mean, you see, Trump will berate somebody who asks a hard question, and then when somebody asks an easy question, he goes, I like this guy.
Yep.
I like this guy. More people should ask questions like you.
Yep.
So honestly, he's just a little bitch who refuses to actually take real questions.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of wild to see. I mean, and I just saw this today they had, well, I saw this over the draft. I don't know if you saw like Deion Sanders' son was kind of like
I saw, we could talk about that because I'm curious your thoughts on it, but didn't they screw his son big time?
well, yes and no. I mean, like I've never been a fan of his son. His son started at Jackson State, which was like a HBCU, so it was bold of him to kind of go there. But Deion Sanders was the coach there. He recruited his son to play quarterback, and then also his kid Travis Hunter, who's like very good at football, plays like cornerback and wide receiver. They never really won anything at Jackson State. They made it to the championship game, and to like his son's credit, they should have won the championship, but the tight end, who happened to be a white guy at an HBCU, which is kind of just so ironic, dropped the pass, like
Oh no.
like a pass that anyone could have caught to win the championship. He dropped that.
Oh my God.
So they never won a championship there. They never kind of they won during the regular season, but never won a championship. Then he goes to Colorado, and they do horrible their first season. Second season, they do better, but they lose all the big games to every team that was kind of ranked. So his son played well, but never won anything, never won a big game, but was very confident. And it's okay to be confident and kind of cocky and like kind of be proud of being a college quarterback. But now when he was going to get drafted, there's an NFL combine that you have to kind of showcase your talents in. He didn't compete in the combine.
Yeah, I heard that he sat it out, right?
Sat out the
He was
combine.
like
There's a
on
Senior
some
Bowl.
cocky shit,
Yeah.
on some arrogant shit. Yeah.
There's a Senior Bowl where you compete in that. He sat that out. And then he had his combine in Colorado, which at your school is very scripted. So like he kind of like did a lot of press conferences, and people said that like he phoned in a lot of the ones that teams he didn't like. So I think it was kind of justified a little bit that he fell in the draft. I think it got to a point where teams were kind of purposely not picking him because they thought his father would be like annoying. But he never did anything to help his cause and be drafted to where people projected him to be. So and then it started to turn into like this like almost like Colin Kaepernick thing where people thought that there was like collusion and teams weren't picking him just because, his dad and because he was arrogant. I personally think he should have gotten drafted a little bit earlier, but he also didn't do himself, any help by not competing in some of those things where people could see where he was good. But then like Trump comes out and says like you should draft
I
him
saw
for,
Trump
like,
said some shit about it. So I heard that people think he definitely should have been a top 5 pick in the draft. Even given everything you said, I heard people saying he should have been first round for sure.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, late in the first round.
Yeah.
But he ended up going, what, in the 5th round?
5th round to like the
Yeah, so that was a fuck you. That was like a fuck you, know your place.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. To your point, I get it. If somebody's really cocky and really arrogant, and it looks to the teams like he's not about the team, he's about himself.
Yeah.
I get the idea of docking him a little bit and dropping him lower. But yeah, 5th round, I don't know, because and tell me if this is true or not. But I heard, despite everything you said, that his personal stats were actually really good.
They were, but then again, it was against bad teams, and every time they played a good team, he didn't really play that well. So like, and they didn't have any like testimonials from the combine or the Senior Bowl to kind of be like, all right, that's our evaluation of him. They're basing it off of footage against bad teams. But like the bigger conversation came when it was like a white versus black thing, because there's been white quarterbacks in the past. Johnny Manziel,
that dude fucked his whole life up,
yeah,
right?
but like he was out and would publicly before the draft say like I would party before games and drink, and he was still drafted, I think, 1st overall. So,
what, for real?
Yeah, so like
Jesus Christ.
So I think it's a bigger issue of like race, and I think that there were situations where like teams just didn't want to pick him because they,
don't like Deion Sanders or have issues with Deion Sanders.
Issues with Deion Sanders, and they didn't want to see a cocky, arrogant like black kid, which is tough.
But that shit. But what's funny enough is like that shit'll sell tickets. That shit'll get people to buy the merch. Like it's like
He's
what happened.
popular.
Remember when John Morant was waving a gun around like every other day
like
on
3 different
Instagram,
times.
and like his shoe was like one of the best sellers at the same time.
Yep.
So like, I mean, I get it, right? I get the aversion to the controversy if you think this person is not going to be a team player and stuff. But at the same time, it's like ultimately the NFL it's entertainment. The league is entertainment.
Yep.
And so like, why not you're going to have plenty of people who are like introverted and don't say shit and just do the job and that's it.
Yep.
Why not have some people who are fucking loud and arrogant? Like I guess that's, to me, that's in today's day and age, it feels like really this is still a problem.
Yeah.
Like look who the fucking president is.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And people were clowning the Browns because after they drafted Shador, their next like 12 posts were all of him, and they were like, you're basically just drafting to use him for like social media and popularity. But it's, to your point, it's entertainment. Like, so like, why not, if someone's popular,
hell yeah,
like use that to your advantage to like get more exposure for your team, get people talking about you. It's so like, it's like Trump, whether or not you like him or not, people are always talking about the dude, and that's
all he wants. That's what he cares about.
He put up outside the White House, and this was wild.
I saw it.
It's like random pictures of people that got arrested.
Yeah.
Like what is?
That's no different. Remember back in the day when there was a king they would like behead their opponents or their enemies and then put it out in front of the
Oh,
castle.
that's
Like that's the
wild.
equivalent of that shit. Like he's doing the modern day version of that shit, you know?
But like, what is that proving? There's people that got arrested before you. There are people that get arrested after you. You just like went to some random court like jail and were just like, let me get a mug photo of all. Like someone had to go to Kinko's and get all of those shits made up to put in
I
his
know.
yard.
I know. I think they're trying to be like, look at all the criminals we're deporting or whatever the fuck. Like, you know, like they have some argument they use, but this dude, he's like a old school imperialist king type. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't care about human rights. He doesn't care about the Constitution. He's trying to do like, I'm Mr. Tough Guy and I'm protecting you. Like that's what he's doing.
But it's just
And it's
all like
fucking gross,
optic
bro. It's
shit.
gross. It's all optics, yeah. But by the same token, I'm sure you've seen when Trump brings these, he'll bring family members of people who had like significant others or kids who got killed by an immigrant. He will bring them to like the RNC and have them give a speech, or like he parades around these people whose family members are the victims of immigrant crime. And he does it to try to make the argument of like, this is why we need to get rid of all the
Yeah, he
immigrants.
doesn't give a shit about them.
It's like cheap ass demagoguery. That's so cheap. Like the idea you're gonna blame all immigrants because some committed a crime. Like what the fuck are you doing? It's so dark. You know what I'm saying? It's like so fucking dark. But I wanted to bring up the so before we got on here, me and Corin were watching a little bit of the Cavaliers versus the Heat.
Smacking the shit out of them.
First round of the playoffs, 1 seed versus 8 seed, so everybody knew like what was going to happen anyway, right? But the score at one point, well, it was when I first looked, it was, I think it was 43 to 14,
Yeah, yourself.
43 to 13, something like that. And every time I looked, it got so I got the final score now.
Yeah, what's the fun?
The score was 138 to 83.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that looks better than what it was. Like you texted me, you were like, the Cavs are waxing that ass, and I was just like I didn't see the score or have the game on or anything. I was like, but I knew that they'd be beating them, so I was like, damn, like of course. And then I put it on. To your point, I think it was 70 to 25 or something like that, or like 74 to 20, like something ridiculous. And in Miami, no less, where people who know Miami fans, I mean, there's so much to do in Miami that the basketball game when the team is not doing well is the last shit that people want to be doing. There's been stories and there's footage when the Heat were playing the Celtics in the Eastern Conference, or no, the Heat were playing the Spurs in the championship, and it was right before Ray Allen hit the like three. The fans had already left. They were at the gate trying to get back in because the game went to overtime.
Oh my god!
So like for that to happen in Miami, there was probably nobody in that arena, and the Cavs just put a whooping on them.
Bro, I mean, it's a classic 1 versus 8 scenario, but like it's always crazy when you see a team just get fully demoralized in like the first quarter.
Yep.
There was a point where if they scored that same amount for every quarter, it would have been like 68 points for the whole game.
Yeah. It's over.
We're talking about below like 1990s level slow ass basketball numbers. So they got destroyed. But the Knicks are now 3-1 against the Pistons.
Yep.
3-1. That's a big ass deal.
There was a big controversy last night. You know, Josh Hart, or maybe it was, what was the game 2 nights ago now?
No, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, maybe
I
yesterday.
think the game was yesterday.
But like the Knicks came back, Karl Anthony Towns made like a huge 3 to go ahead by 1, and then at the end of the game there was like a scramble for a loose ball. It ends up in the Pistons' hands, and Josh Hart clearly fouled Tim Hardaway Jr., but the ref didn't call a foul, and people are like going crazy about it. I say like the Knicks have been getting screwed for so many years on calls in the playoffs, in the regular season, where I've always said for the NBA, like if you're gonna cheat for a team, like why not cheat for the Knicks? So for a call to finally go their way is just like poetic justice.
But you got to remember, 2 games ago, there was legit cheating against the Knicks.
Yeah.
Remember what happened?
Yep.
So Brunson, he had 2 free throws, right?
Yep.
And
he made the
I
first
forget if he
to go
made
up
the
by
first
2.
And then on the second one, he was supposed to miss it on purpose.
Well, there's 0.5 seconds left. So like
0.5 seconds left, and the Knicks are up by 3 points, right?
They're up by 2.
They're up by 2. Okay.
So like they got to get a
So made
rebound.
on
Yeah.
purpose so that the clock runs out.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
There's no shot to grab the rebound and then shoot a full court. They had no timeouts left. No timeouts left.
So so Brunson misses it on purpose.
Yep.
The ball bounces up
Perfectly.
and then the buzzer goes off, which makes no sense because the time only starts when somebody touches the ball.
Yep.
And so the scorekeeper or the timekeeper for the Pistons did that on purpose so that then the refs came in and said, oh, the Pistons will get to inbound it.
Well, the
with
rule
0.5
is
seconds left.
like they said that the rule is the Pistons get the ball, which one is weird because it's like they didn't even get the rebound to the shot.
They didn't even get the rebound. What are we talking about?
And while they're discussing, they get a timeout, a free timeout to draw some shit up. So they get a timeout to draw up a play. They get the ball back on something that they didn't even like get the rebound on, and time would have ran out. So they get the ball.
That's cheating, bro. It's straight cheating.
And
like,
even
what would you have called there? I'm curious what you would have called there. I'll tell you what I would have done.
What do you mean? Like play-wise?
If you were the refs in that scenario, there's two things that I could see being like happening. One of them I'm not sure is in the rules. But one of them
probably would have had him reshoot it. Would have like.
So I was gonna say that's one of them, which I'm not sure if that's in the rules or whatever. But this is a weird scenario. You're gonna have to sort of make it up on the fly. Yeah. So number one, I would say the same shit. Either have him reshoot it, or the other thing is you do a jump ball on their side with 0.5 seconds left.
The last thing I would do was
let them inbound that shit.
Would give the ball to the team who didn't have possession and have the time be exactly what it was while he's shooting. Like at least take 0.3 off, like to replicate his shot or some shit.
Bro, if there would have been riots.
Yeah.
In New York, if they made a shot to win it, after that there would have been riots.
Yeah. Imagine that in like golf, like before someone shoots, they take their putter back, someone yells some shit where they kind of shake it, misses it, and they're like, you could reshoot it. We'll just back it up a little bit further. And if you make it, you'll win the Masters or some shit. Like,
oh my god, yeah, it's crazy.
Was the wildest rule.
That was cheating. Like that was just straight up cheating. The timekeeper dude should be investigated. That shit was straight up cheating.
Yeah.
But now we're up 3-1 on the Pistons.
Yep.
So, but now we're gonna have to play the Celtics in the second round.
I predicted this. I did a preview with my boy Tim.
Check it out, everybody. I've been hawking your channel hard, dog. I've been telling everybody go subscribe.
Up, man.
We're dropping Kyle and Corin's all the time, so people are subbing. We're gonna get you to 100K, dog.
Yeah. No, shout out to the Patreon community too. I just literally saw like someone gave $10, which is beyond me. So like, shout out. I wrote a thank you to everybody who donates there. That was love. But I predicted low key that the Magic are going to beat the Celtics, which is a long shot, but they won.
What's that series at?
2-1.
2-1 right now, Celtics.
Yeah, Magic.
No, 3-1. 3-1.
They must have won today or yesterday.
They did.
All right,
3-1. Yeah,
so they're probably wrong there. But I think the Celtics are beat up. I think Jaylen Brown's knee is hurting. I think Tatum's wrist is hurting. I think they're like pretty injured right now. That the Knicks, although we didn't beat them during the regular season, could come and maybe steal that series.
They gotta. It's all in the adjustments, right? Like you gotta find. I don't know what it is, but they have to do something different compared to what they did. Like Tibbs made the adjustments this series.
Yeah.
Tibbs made the adjustments because Cat didn't have a good game early in the series. Mm-hmm. And then when he was asked about it, he said something like, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing like what I was told to do. And so the thought was they're not feeding Cat enough because there's no answer on the Pistons for Cat. Yeah. Cat could dominate the Pistons, right? And so then they made the adjustments and they started feeding Cat more and Cat got going and now we're up 3-1, right? And so I don't know what it is, but we got to find that thing with the Pistons. I don't know what it is, but because I'm sorry, with the Celtics, you know, they jack up, they shoot so many fucking threes.
Yeah, they shoot a lot. And Pritchard hits them.
Like, what do we do? What do we do with that? How do we? Because last year we were one of the best defensive teams in the league.
Yeah.
This year defense is actually our bad part. Like it's our worst thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it is, but we got to find some way to fucking take them down.
We just got to hope that they miss because I think there's been games in the past in the regular season where they've just like hit all their shit, shot like
Brick
45,
City,
50%. where we got to just hope that they start missing some of those shots and we're just hitting. But I think and I hope they'll be all right. But the Lakers series is dope. Like Anthony Edwards is stepping up to LeBron, which is kind of crazy.
Bro, 3-1, dog. It's 3-1 Timberwolves.
3 to
Nobody
1.
saw this coming. Everybody had the Lakers winning this series.
Julius Randle played super well for the Timberwolves.
Yup. Mm-hmm.
And then also another dope series is Denver and the Clippers. Like Kawhi's been going up, but did you see the game winner with Aaron Gordon?
Yes, and that series right now is 2-2.
2-2.
That one is a total toss-up.
And
because
Westbrook
Denver
didn't even play last game.
He didn't play last game. Denver they haven't looked great this year. They haven't looked amazing this year.
No, I mean
Like-
they've been all over the place, and then that's why they fired their coach, like with literally a week to go.
And the Clippers are interesting, right? Because on paper they should be a really good ass team.
Super good.
But then like they're also sort of old.
Yep.
Like Kawhi is kind of old. Harden looks like a fat
Kawhi
mechanic.
actually looks like the best that he's ever been. Like he looks healthy, but it's Harden
like-
that kind of is like.
I feel like Kawhi steps up in the playoffs.
Yeah, he does.
Don't you? Like I feel like he steps up in the playoffs. So that's 2-2. That game is we're recording this on Monday. That game is on Tuesday. It's
Yep.
tomorrow.
And Golden State, I
Um,
think they're up 2-1.
Golden State. Okay, so by the way, that game, when we're done with Kyle and Corin, that game's going to be on.
Golden
It just
State's on
started right
tonight?
now. It's on tonight.
Oh,
It just
nice.
started right now. It's on TNT. Right now, it's Golden State leading 2-1. They won the last game without Jimmy Butler
Yeah,
because Jimmy Butler. Did you see, dog? Did you see that injury Jimmy Butler had?
yeah, he came down hard on his like tailbone,
Bro.
or some shit.
He came down hard. But now let me ask you, because there was like debate about this. It was Amin Thompson who fucking fell into him,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And at first, everybody was like, fucking Draymond pushed him and he fucking, right? But then I watched the clip like over and over and over and over and over. Draymond actually doesn't push him.
Yeah.
It really is like Thompson just fucking falls and cuts the legs out from underneath Butler and he falls and gets a pelvic contusion. What did you think? Did you think that Draymond pushed him or did you think it was like sort of just a fall or do you think it was a dirty play from Thompson?
I don't think like Thompson's a dirty player. I think like things happen so fast in a basketball game that like you kind of get positioned somewhere and then something ends up happening and it's a lot worse than what you imagined it would be. Like Vince Carter once did that to a player. He was on like Sacramento like at the end of his career and like a young kid was like dunking over him or some shit and he kind of like undercutted him a little bit and then the guy actually ended up getting like seriously injured. And Vince like you could tell was like, I was just trying to do some like, don't do that on me type of shit. And it ended up being a lot worse. I feel like that was maybe one of those things with Thompson where he kind of like was in the wrong spot and then like ends up kind of like getting him pretty good and he falls down. But I don't get like Draymond is such a dirty player that like
He really is.
Any
He really is. He was innocent in this example,
Yeah.
but he really is so fucking dirty. And he's fucked up too. Remember the shit he said to Kat? He said some shit to Kat, like Kat had to miss the game or whatever, and he was like, he was acting like it was because of him. Meanwhile, Kat was at like a funeral for one of his best friends.
Yeah, yeah. There's I don't know if this account is like real or not, but there's always an account on Twitter that like will have like mic'd up and it's like leaked audio from like the players on court. And it's just like all of the videos are usually Draymond saying some fucked up shit to a player. And it reminds me of like when Kevin Garnett used to play.
Oh my God.
He was like the king of like saying like like he'd do research on people just to say some fucked up shit.
He's so intense. Garnett is so intense.
Imagine
he's a
having
scary
your,
dude.
like politics show and there was just like a crowd of people like sitting next to you like talking shit while you were reporting on stories.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, that's too much, right? Like that shit could throw you off so easy.
100%.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett.
Like imagine shooting a jump shot and someone just like, I fucked your mom and like I'd be like, come on, man. Like
So let's give everybody right now. Here, I'm going to go to the playoff brackets real quick. Okay, let's give our predictions. So Thunder already beat the Grizzlies.
Yep.
So that next. So who do you think? Do you think the Nuggets or the Clippers are going to win the series?
I still think the Clippers are going to win that series. I think.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna go Nuggets. I'll go Nuggets on that one.
I could be swayed, but
I could be swayed too. I'm not solid on it, but I'll go.
I'm
Nuggets.
like 51-49 that the Clippers could win that, but I still think that
I'm 51-49 the other way.
Yeah. Who's the next one?
Oh, next one is
Golden State?
No, Lakers Timberwolves.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
it's
think the
over, right?
Lakers come back. LeBron, and they've showed a lot of footage of LeBron. It's weird because in like super crucial moments, he's like laughing with Anthony Edwards on like a coach's challenge at the end of the game, and people are like, he's not serious. And then last night, this is LeBron's crutch, man. They're up 103, 101 with like 59 seconds left, and he shoots a deep three that he misses. Granted, LeBron made like three defensive plays in a row to like make it so they were even like
Right,
in
keep
the
him in it.
game.
Yeah.
But when they were down one, there's video of him like standing in the corner being super like deferring to every other player and passing the ball. Like, so he could shoot the shot when it's like there's no pressure on him, but when they need him to shoot the shot like down one, he disappears into the corner. And that's always kind of been LeBron's MO. And that's why I think people like in the debate shit are like Jordan would go and get the ball and score a basket and not be hiding anywhere when they're losing, you know?
I heard that Luca in the last game was sick. Did you hear that?
No, but I
That
mean,
he was
it
like
wouldn't surprise me because he didn't play too well.
everybody said he had a horrible game,
Yep.
and then people were saying he was literally sick, and so he played, but he probably shouldn't have played,
Yeah.
type shit.
Yeah.
So it's possible, you know. It's up. They're up 3-1 Minnesota, so it's for all intents and purposes it's over. I
Yeah,
mean, what do the
everyone's
Lakers
probably
have, like a 5% chance or less?
Yeah.
But you know they'll probably pick up maybe one more game and then lose. I don't know, but
I
it's
think
hard to. You got to go Timberwolves now because they're up so much.
I think, and this is a prediction, I think that Lakers fans are going to start turning on JJ Redick just because he's pretty mean to like some of his players. And granted, like coaches shouldn't be nice to their team, but like he yells at them, like kind of like berates them pretty bad to the point where it's like, yo, like take it easy a little bit, bro.
He's also really like sour with the media.
Yeah.
Like he's really fucking like fuck you for even existing type vibe, you know?
Yeah. Which is weird because he was in the media right before he became a coach.
Yeah, true. All right, who do you think? Warriors are up over the Rockets 2-1. Who do you think wins that series?
I think the Warriors still win that. Like Steph Curry, and then like maybe Butler will come back. I don't know if he's out for the whole series.
This might be my spiciest take, but I think the Rockets might win the series.
For real?
Because Jimmy Butler's hurt. He has pelvic contusion, and he's coming back, but I don't think he's going to be 100%. And I think he'll probably be on restricted minutes.
Yeah.
And for the Warriors to win the series against the Rockets without a fully healthy Jimmy Butler, remember, before the Warriors got Jimmy Butler, they were ass cheeks, dog.
Yeah.
Like they were not even a playoff team at that point because it was just too much of a burden on Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the Rockets are probably going to win that series, even though right now Golden State is up 2-1. I'll say this. It'll all depend on Butler. If Butler is back and he's healthy enough, then I'm wrong. But if he's still hurting and he has restricted minutes and he's clearly not playing at his level, then I actually think the Rockets are going to win the series.
Yeah, I don't know. I still like the Warriors to me are still the Warriors. Like as long as Steph Curry is still kind of balling out, and they've played great defense on him and kind of have like held him at bay as best as they can. They'll put like 3 guys on him and he'll still beast a crazy shot. Like,
I mean, he doesn't need much space to get a shot off.
It's insane how like
he's the best shooter God ever created, as Stephen A. Smith says.
Yeah, no, it's true. And he's just unreal. He's not human. So like the shit he does while the game plan is like literally stop this man and do everything to stop this man, he still goes out and beast is incredible.
All right, so Cavaliers just beat the Heat.
Yeah,
the series is over. 4-zip sweep. Then we have the Pacers are up 3-1 on the Bucks.
Yeah,
I think there's no way the Bucks come back. It's a wrap. Pacers are going to win that. And Pacers look better than I thought. For some reason, the Pacers always in the playoffs. They always look good in the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't get as much credit just because it's like not a big market, and that series is just a fucking dud. Like no one's watching Milwaukee, Indiana. I'm sorry.
I've been watching all the games.
Nationally, like no one, it's like.
No, I agree. I know what you're saying. I agree. But yeah, the Pacers, they're just like a good team. They're just a solid ass team all the time.
Coached. Rick Carlisle won a championship with the Mavericks, and he's just like OG good ass coach. He looks exactly like Jim Carrey.
That's hilarious. All right, then we have Knicks up 3-1 on Pistons. I think that's over. Knicks win that shit.
Yep.
Celtics Magic. The Celtics are up 3-1.
Yes.
Celtics are going to win that shit.
Yeah.
But then, so who wins the? Let's say Thunders versus Nuggets or Thunders versus Clipper. That's Thunder, right?
Yeah.
I got the Thunders going to the finals. The Thunder's going to the finals.
Yeah.
Then we have Timberwolves versus Rockets or Warriors. I would say whoever. I'd say whoever comes out of Rockets Warriors will beat the Timberwolves. What do you think?
Timberwolves are good, man. Anthony Edwards is like a beast. I think they get past that second round.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So then you'll have Thunder versus Timberwolves in
that'll be a good
the
one.
Western Conference Finals. That's Thunder all
Yeah,
day.
I think OKC comes out. They're like super
Yeah.
good right now, man. Like,
Yeah, they are. They're
and
ridiculous.
they're
Them
gonna
and the
have
Cavs
Nats
too, bro.
to rest.
I've been waiting for the Cavs to fall off, and they just haven't fallen off.
Yeah, no, they're beasting. They look really good. And Miami's not like a slouch. Yes, they're the eighth seed, but like
Hmm.
Miami always plays hard, always plays good.
So Cavaliers versus Pacers.
Cavs, I
I
think,
mean,
beat them.
I got to go Cavs, but I think the Pacers will put up a dogfight
They'll put up
and
a
at least
fight.
win one game.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, I don't think Cavs have trouble until Eastern Conference Finals when the Knicks are going to smack the shit out of them.
Then we have Knicks versus
Celtics,
Celtics.
which
I got to go with the heart, man. I'm going with my heart. I'm going Knicks.
yeah,
I'm going
I
Knicks.
mean, I can't pick against them, but like they hadn't beat the Celtics there. I think they were 0-8 versus the Cavs and the
Yeah,
Celtics in
they're
regular
with the
season.
big teams. They lost every game against the big teams
Yep,
this year.
yep.
Yeah,
I think playoffs is a clean slate.
it's different. Yeah, it's
Yep.
different. It's
It's
different.
always amazing to me, and Brunson kind of has this thing that Dwayne Wade used to have. Dwayne Wade would always look like his knee is about to fall off and then just drop 40 on you.
I
Brunson's
know.
ankle is always looks like it's hanging on by a thread, and then it just
Yeah,
comes back out and will just light your ass up.
totally. All right, so then we have Cavs versus Knicks in the Eastern Conference
I think the
Finals. Who you
Cavs,
got?
I mean, I think the Knicks beat them, man. Like they have the Cavs number in the playoffs.
I have
Just
to
say
do it.
Knicks.
I hate to do it. I won't even say it. I'll let everybody fill in the blank themselves. All right, so then Finals. Who you got? I know who I think. I think it's probably going to be Thunder, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, OKC's good, but like if the Knicks make it to the finals, man, that'll be bananas. And like,
Oh my! Forget if the Knicks get past the Celtics.
yeah,
I'm gonna be on cloud nine,
yeah,
bro.
the city's gonna be going crazy.
Oh my god! If the Knicks get past, oh my god!
They show Madison Square Garden after like our
I saw.
first round, and it is going crazy. Like they have watch
I
parties
know.
already for the first round, and it's like
I
going
know.
crazy.
It's
So like,
amazing.
I can't imagine if they beat the Celtics. What?
Oh my god! Oh my god! It would just be so Thunder versus Knicks in the finals. Oh, that's
Big
another
one.
team between the Celtics, the Cavs, and OKC. Those are the teams
We'd have to
that,
beat the whole season.
and we gotta fucking they gotta come up with some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They gotta come up with some shit.
Yep.
And by the way, OKC, who do they have? Hartenstein,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We got rid of Hartenstein, and he's balling over there.
Yeah. SGA's
You
good.
know?
Their whole squad. They just play so well together. Chad Holmgren. They got a really good young team too, so they're gonna be around for a hot minute. And their GM has like 9 billion picks stacked up that he's like got from over the years.
I just hope it's not Celtics versus OKC in the finals.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch that shit.
If the Knicks don't make it to the finals, I hope it's Cavs versus OKC.
Yeah.
And by the way, that too would be a fucking. I think OKC would win, but I think that would be a fucking a finals for the ages.
It would be. It would probably be one of the best basketball finals of like all time, but literally like 17 people and you're
Yeah.
gonna be watching that shit.
Yeah, only like basketball like obsessives are gonna watch that. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
but it'll be good. Like it'll be good as fuck. But to your point, it's like SGA versus like Donovan
Like
Mitchell.
Cleveland and OKC, two spots where there ain't shit happening. in
17
that
people live
motherfucker.
there. Yeah, their star players like never say anything to anybody.
Nothing.
You know.
Um,
Yeah.
I did this weekend. I did so Molly's uncle actually has MS and he's in like bad, not bad shape. He lives fine. He's just not, he doesn't like walk and anything. But we did a walk in the city and it was a mile walk. So we're going and I was there with my boy Dean and he has like a new dog, so they brought their dog. We're walking the mile, we loop around, and as we're walking back, some guy mad nonchalant, mad chilling was like, "Yo, I love you on the podcast, man," and gave me a pound.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, it was like so cool. And Dean was like, "Yo, I could vouch for you. That was dope. Like that was cool." But,
That's awesome, man.
so here's my thing. I gave him the pound and kind of just kept it moving and kind of like he did it so quick that like, and it was a busy street. Like it was on the West Side Highway down by like all the piers. He hit me with like, at first I was like, yeah, he definitely knew me from the podcast. But then I was like, 90% like maybe he thought I was some other dude from a different podcast.
No, 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 no chance,
Because
no
he just
chance.
hit me with like a "I love you from that podcast, man." Like he didn't hit me with like a "Yo, Kyle and Corin," like on some hype shit.
Yeah, but people don't like everybody's different, but most people they try to be like respectful and quick with it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they understand like you got shit going
And
on, you're
there
busy,
like it
whatever.
was signs for like this is an MS walk. I'm walking like my family's behind me and shit like that, you know?
Right. Yeah. So no, that is what it is. That's
Okay.
exactly what you think it is.
Because
He's probably watching right now. Shout out to that guy.
yeah, no. OD shout out to that guy because he was on some G just chill shit. And I remember we spoke about this, but like you're mad good at like when someone like spots you that you understand like you're like, hey man, you want a picture or some shit? Because you understand like they might not want to ask or be comfortable to ask, but you give them that courtesy of like do you want a picture or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
I'm a big advocate of because I normally don't do any public events or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate of when I am in that scenario, give everybody who talks to me, give them legitimate, like real time.
You're mad good with
like,
that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Shake their hand, ask them what their name is,
Yeah.
try to repeat the name so you remember it, talk to them a little bit, and just because that's gonna be if they really like the show a lot, then to them this is like a really cool thing.
100%.
Like, oh shit, I met the dude who I watch all the time on YouTube. And so I want them to feel like I gave them real time and attention. And then later on, when they think about it, they'd be like, oh yeah, that dude was really cool. And he was nice and he talked to me a little bit and whatever. Last thing I want is for somebody to walk away and be like, that guy's a real fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. Now, as everybody knows, I make a point of not losing my mind in the comments. I never read comments.
Yeah,
I never
that's
because I've seen people literally go crazy with that. But in person, if somebody is nice enough to come up and say they like it or whatever, I'll absolutely give them 3 to 5 minutes, say what's up, ask what their name is, talk to them a little bit. Because because think about it. For people who we look at as famous, right, who we think are super cool.
Yep.
That's all you want from them is like, if you give me 3 minutes of just real talk,
you remember
that'll blow my mind and I'll think about it forever. And I'll tell everybody I know this was the coolest dude of all time.
Yep.
So to me, it's like a real basic thing to do that. I feel like that's what you owe people who actually genuinely watch the show, like the show, etc. It's just the right thing to do, you know?
Yeah. And it was funny because Molly was like, how often do you think like Kyle gets recognized? Because if like someone spotted me on this shit, I was like, do you like, I mean, like you also kind of are more low key where like you're not out in public too much, like you're just kind of like more reserved. You'll play golf and do shit like that. But like, there's probably times like it was a cool feeling, but you probably get spotted too, like by people like.
So to your point, I really, really rarely do anything where there's like a lot of people around.
Yeah.
So like you said, what do I do? Well, most of my free time, if I can, I'm just chilling, watching TV.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I like playing golf a lot, right? I practice golf in our yard, but it's very rare. Like the place that I'll go where it's like the busiest would be like the mall around here. And usually I'm going at a time when it's not like a busy weekend. And so there's not that many people around.
Yeah.
And so most of the time I don't get, but if we were to go, like we've gotten recognized on the streets of DC before. We've gotten recognized a bunch of times. There was one time at a golf course that I did get recognized, which is surprising to me because my demographic is not exactly people who love golf. But yeah, if I'm doing something in a big city or something, then it'll happen.
Yeah.
But I'm rarely in a scenario like that. Like you said, I'm very low key.
Yeah.
Like I'm not somebody who's looking to go out all different places. I don't even like traveling. I don't even like traveling. I like vacation. And if I go on a vacation, I'm literally just laying on a beach. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it happens, but most of the time I don't put myself in a position where I am going to get recognized all the time.
Yep.
The thing that was mind blowing, which you can attest to, is every time we did Politicon. That's like a different world.
For people that will like wait for your shit were dinky marinky.
Yeah, because we walked like it's a scenario where everybody who's there is a political junkie. And so that's like all of a sudden, if it was like a Hollywood conference, like I'm Brad Pitt now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy because that was a real eye-opening moment of like, holy shit. Like
I
this
think
is
you'd be
like people are
surprised too,
actually
like
listening.
if you came to like a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden or something, the amount of
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
notice you
Yeah,
and spot you would be like I'd be curious to see like just walking the New York City streets with you for like 3 hours of how many people spotted you would be like a good case
yeah.
study to just kind of it kind of like I mean shout out to that dude, man. Hopefully if you listen this far comment and just like kind of just be like yo that was me. um it kind of made me feel like what like that's what's up, like people still listen to our shit because sometimes like we'll chat and I'm like no one listens to this shit, but like that made it real. So it was a cool like kind of moment.
You
I
know,
wanted to
YouTube.
ask the dude like, "Yo, you want to take a picture?" Like,
You should have. He probably would
no,
have
but
said,
he
"Hell
just
yeah,
like
I'll
hit
take
me
a
with some
picture."
like, "Yo," like he kept it like it
Quick, kept
was
it moving.
on
Yeah,
some
got you.
ODG shit that I was just like, "Yo, do more, dog."
So what you got to mess around in the back of YouTube because there's a way where you can look at your analytics and you could see where most of your fans are.
Oh yeah,
Like it'll
Melly
break
knows
it
how to do
down.
all that shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It'll break it down by state. It'll break it down by country. It'll
Oh,
break
I
it
didn't
down
know
by
all that.
age group. It'll break it down by gender. All of that shit.
Okay, yeah,
And
Molly could.
I remember I'm going back literally last time I looked at this was probably like 2018 or something, but my biggest number of fans were in New York, California, and Texas, were I think the three biggest.
Oh wow, Texas is
And
like
then
kind of a surpriser.
obviously most of them were American. Most of my fans were American,
Hmm.
but there was a real decent number of Canadians, real decent number of people in the UK, decent number in like
Yeah, you
Australia.
probably have a big kind of just like outreach of people, like I mean, worldwide at this point.
But it's also interesting because I looked recently just because I was curious about the gender
Yeah,
dynamics.
yeah,
There was a time YouTube is very overwhelmingly like male dominated,
yeah,
especially YouTube politics.
yeah.
There was a time where I was like 90% male, and just recently we looked at it, it was like 75% male. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So that changed too a little bit.
Well, do you think more women are getting into politics just because of like Trump fucking like blocking every reproductive decision you can make with your
It
body?
could be. I think that after Trump getting in the White House this time, that a lot of people who watched MSNBC all day, they started looking for different voices online, and I think a lot of their audience has migrated to where we are. The other thing is, I was always under the impression that my audience, because this was the case for a long time, that my audience was like most of them are like in their 20s. Now it looks more like it's like I guess it's the same people, but now it's like 30s more.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's like 25 to 40 or 25 to
good
45.
demo.
And so it really is like it's moving with it's like the millennial generation is the biggest demographic.
Yep,
You know what I'm
yep,
saying?
yep.
And I find that interesting because that means that the Gen Zers, there's plenty of them, but they're just not statistically as much as the others.
Yeah,
It's like they're more on TikTok, they're more listening to other shit.
true, true.
And so it's funny how the numbers over the years have changed where there was a time when it was like, oh, my audience is the young audience. Now it's like,
They're a little more
not
sophisticated.
necessarily.
Yeah.
My audience is more that what they call the key demographic, which is like the people that are working and they're spending the most money or whatever. And it's crazy because that's the cable news tries so hard to get the key demographic to watch them because that's when you get the most ad dollars
Yeah.
because those are the people who shop the most and buy the most shit. And so they want the key demographic watching. And that's where our fucking most of our viewers are. Meanwhile, most of the viewers for cable news are like older. They're like in their 60s. So it's crazy. They would do whatever to get those sorts of demographic numbers, but
They don't
it's
get
crazy
that
because none of them, they're not interested. Like, they don't reach out to
No.
people like us.
No.
Like, if they actually wanted to get good ratings, they would reach out to people like us, but they didn't. They haven't thought about it and don't care.
Well,
you know?
hopefully it gets to a spot. I mean, you said they're starting to come around with a little better content and even just people
Yeah, that's
realizing,
true.
you know,
I wouldn't be surprised if I got invited or Crystal got invited one of these days.
that's what I'm saying. Because
I
you've
would
been
not be
on
surprised by that.
before, so I'm surprised.
No, I've been on Fox News.
Oh, that's right.
Fox News was the only one that took risks and were happy to bring on, a young left-wing YouTuber. They brought me on.
Yeah,
They had a show where it would be like radio hosts who debate from the right and the left.
yeah.
And I went on that show 2 or 3 times. But it was only Fox News ever reached out.
And that's why,
Only.
like, weirdly, I know they're not bringing the right people to the White House. Like, some of the stuff that Trump does, in theory, is a good concept. And it's almost like the Democrats and Biden were so stubborn to never try that and have a new media seat where they can have their own left wing voice come in and be like, have you ask a question like, Biden, yeah, blah blah blah, you didn't do great on this, but and kind of throw him some love where your audience is like, all right, he's a little bit down to earth, and like Kyle asked him a good question. Trump and the right wing are like good at doing that, where they'll bring in
Yeah.
someone who's like very popular, and that's where the audience is at. So like, kind of kudos to them for having that new media seat. Like, hopefully they could bring in a different voice. But I was like, yo, I kind of respect that they have like something different that changes at least the status quo of like the same fucking media people in there that write the same fucking stories from the New York Times and whatever other outlets that have just been there for ages and ages.
So what Democrats do, and this is really stupid and dumb, is they think about like hierarchy and the order
Yeah.
and whose turn is it, who goes next. We saw this with the fight over Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wanted to be the head of the Oversight Committee, which is like one of the main committees that'll fight back against Trump and the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
And the party picked a 74-year-old with esophageal cancer over her. And his comment to the media was like, yeah, it was my turn, basically. And so that's how the Democrats think. They think of like hierarchy, order, whose turn is it, what are we supposed to do, what's the process? Whereas on the Republican side, to your point, to them it's like, are you making the most noise? Are you getting the most views? Are you getting the most eyeballs? Are people interested in what you're saying? Okay, you're a leader now.
Yep.
That's how they think. So that you're right, that mindset, that old school mindset has to die
So stubborn.
on the Democratic side, because you're not going to, a 74-year-old with cancer is not going to be the best fighting force you have against Trump doing fascism.
No.
You know? And so, yeah, but I do think some things are going to change. I do think it's going to get a little bit better because it's a sink or swim type shit. And like, you're fucked right now. And like, you got to find a way out of this. And the way to get out of it is that leaders are going to emerge and the leaders need to get their due. And so that's why you see, even on MSNBC, the hosts are like, yeah, Bernie and AOC are the only ones fighting back, and Chuck Schumer's a bitch. And like, they're talking about that. They're saying it now.
Good.
And so, yeah, hopefully that sort of shit changes. But I wouldn't, for me personally, I would much rather be a voice on the media. I would have no problem being on the media and doing my shit, doing guest appearances or whatever. But they wouldn't want me in the room for Biden, and I sort of agree. I wouldn't want to be in there either because a lot of the shit I'd say would genuinely
hurt him or
be super aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like there are things I give him credit for, but I'm also really critical in a lot of ways, and I feel like it would be my duty to do a service to the audience is I gotta ask the question about here's the shit you fucked up. Like, let's talk about that. And that's why they wouldn't. Nobody on the Democratic side is going to play patty cakes. And yeah, exactly. And so there are some people who will do that in this space, but that's not me. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so, you know, people who want to see just a fluff job 24/7, go, you know, you could do that, but that's not what they're going to get from me.
Yeah.
You know?
It's sad that that's where it's gotten to. But did you see what do you think about Saquon playing golf with Trump?
Oh, man. I've become so radicalized on this, like with Bill Maher, meeting with Trump, too.
Yeah.
I am so... And did you see Larry David's response?
He joke? Like, he joked, like, having dinner with a Nazi or something like that?
So, Bill Maher went to Mar-a-Lago and did literally a 12-minute segment talking about how Trump was actually really nice and really reasonable, and we got along, and it's a totally different person behind the scenes, okay? And what me and Trump both agreed on is that the people who didn't want us to meet, we don't like you. We don't care about you, okay? So he did his whole shtick, right? And Larry David wrote a piece in the New York Times where the title was, My Dinner with Adolf.
Yeah.
And then he goes down this whole thing of like, the Fuhrer opened the door for me, and I said... And he greeted me warmly. It was actually very disarming, and he was very charming behind the scenes. And then he made a joke about Herman Goring's dog and how he would eat the table or whatever. Like, and so he roasted him. And then Bill Maher had a horrible response where he was like, you know, anytime you bring up the Nazis, it's like you already lost the argument, okay? And it's like, I'm so radicalized on this question now because it's so dishonest to act like, you know, I just want to have conversations. Why can't I just have conversations? It's like what you are doing, they're using you, and what you are doing is laundering his image to liberals so that then they get to turn around and say, even Bill Maher says that Donald Trump is actually perfectly lovely, so nobody should dislike him, nobody should hate him. So they were using him for propaganda purposes.
Same with Saquon.
And it's also,
Look,
And
Saquon played golf with him. Like,
exactly. And so, and it's also, it's total bullshit too, the idea of like, it doesn't mean anything that I met with him. Like, I just have conversations. No, asshole, would you agree to sit down and have a conversation with a serial killer who killed 38 people? No, you wouldn't. You would say, you know what, that goes a little too far.
yep.
How about a child rapist? Would you want to sit down and talk to a child rapist?
Nope.
How about a Muslim fundamentalist terrorist who blew some shit up? Would you want to talk to somebody who defends Joseph Stalin? Would you want to sit down and talk to somebody who's a violent, paranoid schizophrenic or a cult leader? You can come up with like 1,000 different things where everybody's got certain lines, and this is a line for everybody.
Yep.
And the point that people are making to you is like, stop pretending like this motherfucker doesn't cross the line.
Yep.
Literally right now he's ripping up the Constitution and throwing people into a gulag with no court hearing and no due process whatsoever. That crosses a line. It crosses a line when he stands up there and says, we're going to take Greenland, we're going to take Panama, we're going to make Canada the 51st state, we're bombing Yemen right now, we're bombing Somalia right now. He says we're going to own Gaza and take Gaza and build Trump casinos on the beach. Stop pretending like, oh, we could just have a conversation. Like, no, you didn't. And Bill Maher admitted that in the dinner, he was sort of sucking Trump off on certain issues. They were talking about, we also talked about where we agree. And Kid Rock came out, and he was the one who started the dinner. He was like, yeah, it was great. They didn't fight at all. They agreed on a bunch of stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. Is like, you're not going in there to record it and fucking grill him and hold him accountable.
Yeah.
You're going in there to be buddy-buddy. And Bill Maher even admitted, you know, I supported Bill Clinton, and he never invited me to the White House. And I supported Barack Obama, and he never invited me to the White House. But Trump was the first one to do it. And it's like, really? So that's what it comes down to. It's like, your fucking ego.
Yep.
And you wanted more recognition from these people, and they didn't give it. Now Trump's giving it. This is the fucking problem. So, yeah, Bill Maher is cooked. Saquon Barkley, to your point, is cooked.
Yeah.
Anybody who does this and pretends like it's not political, like, no, bitch, it is definitely political.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts, shout out to him. The quarterback was like, I had a schedule.
Saw that.
Conflict, like, can't make it, buddy, or something like that. So
I saw that. That was awesome.
I mean, that's like taking a stand. But I don't know. You might have reposted it or something, but it was it the guy Sam Seder or whatever, like, put out that clip of Geraldo Rivera.
Goated.
Yeah,
and Sam is goated, and that clip was so crazy because Bill Maher made the perfect argument against the shit that he ended up doing.
Exactly. It was like, oh, like you like him because you were on Celebrity Apprentice and he was nice to you, and now
he's ruining the world now. That's not impressive to me that he was nice to you at Thanksgiving dinner.
Exactly, and he had a nice dinner with him, and now he's doing the same shit. So like, it's funny, and how like it's convenient for him to kind of be nice to Trump, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I won a championship and I got invited to the White House, if I would like miss out on going to the White House because I didn't like the president.
I definitely wouldn't. Well, it depends. If I disagree with them, but they're not like ruining the country, then I'd probably go. But
if it was,
I can't with Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to go, bro. He should already be impeached. He should be removed. He should be arrested. Like, this shit is crazy. We're witnessing the destruction of our. By the way, have you seen yet? Like, first of all, prices are already starting to go up.
No, I mean, everything's fucking expensive.
Bro. This is about to get so bad. So I covered this on my show the other day.
Uh-huh.
Basically, trade between the U.S. and China has now just stopped. Like, the U.S. and China are not trading anymore.
And that's like where all of our resources come from.
Bro, experts are saying the Walmart shelves are going to be empty. The shelves at Target are going to be empty.
For real.
We're going to have a shortage of so much shit. And prices are going to absolutely skyrocket. And I already saw this because the other day I bought some new business shoes on Amazon.
Yeah.
And when I bought them, I bought one pair and I was like, if I like these, I'm going to get some more because I need them in DC, I need them in Virginia, and I need different colors, whatever. And so I bought a pair of them, and it was $27. So then 2 days later, I'm driving and I tell Crystal, oh, could you go on Amazon for me real quick? And I want to get more of these shoes. She's like, sure. So she goes and does it. Those same shoes that were $27, 2 days later, $40. So it's already happening with the prices, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So I don't think people really know. And right now, Trump's approval is at 39. As soon as everything gets way too expensive, his shit is going to plummet. He's going to be like 28% approval.
I feel like even mentioning like the approval rating, like, I still think like, I don't know. I know that's a real number, but then like, you look at the video. I saw a video today. It was like his grandkids were filming and Don Jr. was to the side of him, and there was like a big crowd off in the distance, and Don Jr. was like, do the Trump dance. And it was just like a massive crowd of people like outside the White House, like still cheering him on type of shit.
He's got a cult, dog. He's got a cult. Look, he has a floor. A lot of politicians don't have a floor. If they fuck up, they could go to like 0% support.
Yeah.
Trump has a floor. He does. But that number is between 26 and 33%. That's it. Like, when he gets down to his bare bones, like, can't get any worse, it'll be between 26 and 33%. And the reason I got that number is because they polled on whether or not we should steal Greenland.
Yeah.
The low number was 26, the high number was 33. That's how I get that number. But we're going to get to that point because it's all fine and dandy, but you will lose everybody who's not in the cult when things get bad.
Yeah,
enough.
I was sitting in the sauna with a guy, he said he lost his job, and then like I'm looking at a guy in the locker room pulling up his stocks and the whole shit was red. Like, these are real people. Like, this is real situations of shit that is affecting real people's lives that might have voted for Trump, might have like kind of been supporting him. And now they're gonna get affected. Like the dude I was talking to in the sauna had like 2 kids in college, just lost his job like 2 days ago. The dude with the stocks probably got some kids. Like, it's real.
And that's one of millions of people who are about to go to bed.
100%.
They restarted student loan payments. And they're doing it at the same time prices are skyrocketing and there's going to be mass layoffs. And they restarted the student loan shit.
Like, you have to pay like on your student
You
loans?
have to pay. And they're garnishing wages. So like if you don't pay, they take it out of your Social Security or they take it out of your wages or whatever. They find a way to claw it back. So it's not like, I don't know how we get through these 4 years without like literal riots.
Yeah.
Like I think there's going to be riots. I think it's going to be insane. You're already seeing it at the town halls. Anytime a Republican does a town hall, it's packed full of people who are like, fuck you, fuck everything about you, you're ruining everything. And this is just the first 100 days, bro.
That's what's wild to me is that it's the first 100 days. And I can't. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I said that Trump was going to win, it's because I was like out on the road and I would see signs and I would see shit in people's yards. And it was very like isolated to just like what I was seeing. But now when I'm seeing the same shit, when I go to like my gym and I see people telling me they're getting laid off, and I go on LinkedIn and I see more people are getting laid off, like everyone listening probably knows someone that's getting laid off or worried about their job or some shit. Like, that's some serious shit. That's not like someone's going to be in office. That's like, I can't pay my bills type of shit. And that's a lot worse than someone just being office and kind of affecting your taxes and you have to pay a little bit more. Like, when you don't have a job, that's when some serious shit happens.
Your spidey senses are starting to pick it up. Just wait, man, because I'm telling you, I think what I heard was around May 2nd is when the shit really hits the fan. Because when we bring in all this shit from China, it takes a while for all the cargo ships to get here.
Yeah.
And then when they get here, it takes a total of about 45 days to get a cargo ship to come to the U.S. and get all the way to L.A.
Yeah.
And so they said, based on when he started the trade war, we're looking at about May 2nd is when the shit really hits the fan. And listening to his advisors and shit on TV, trying to explain this shit away, we're cooked, bro. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't. And we already pissed off the world. The whole world is going to abandon us. Everybody's going to snuggle up to China. Like, we're done. We're done as the world's superpower. Like, there's no way now. The dollar eventually is going to be dropped as the world reserve currency. We're in for some bad times, bro. I mean, you already lived through a bunch of fucking, like, we lived through fucking the Iraq War and the Great Recession and COVID and all. And it's gonna be even worse now. Like, it's gonna be even worse.
Trump went to I just saw he went to the Pope's funeral and like they were mad silent for him, and then the Ukraine guy walked in and they were like all clapping and cheering. And then they showed a picture. I don't know if this video was AI or if it was true. Was he falling asleep at that shit?
That picture was real. Yeah, that picture was real. But the thing, did you see the controversy over the blue suit?
Oh, I saw a headline, but like he wore a blue suit.
So here, I'll explain what happened. So he wore a blue suit, right? And people were like, what a fucking piece of shit. Like, this is the scenario where, like, you should be wearing black, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what right-wingers did is they took a picture of the crowd, and then they edited the picture and turned up the blue saturation. So what that does is makes anybody else wearing blue make it look like they're also wearing, like, a bright blue.
Oh, okay.
When in reality, Trump was wearing, like, a pretty blue, like pretty almost royal blue suit. Whereas anybody else who was wearing blue was wearing a shade of blue called midnight blue, which is very close to black.
Yeah.
So it's acceptable to wear midnight blue at a funeral. It's not to wear some royal blue ass shit.
Yep.
And so he was like the only person, bro, wearing that shit. Like, and I get it, right? Like, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it just shows, like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
It's almost like back to the point of like, I think he thinks this through. Like, it's like he.
Yeah, you were onto this a long time ago.
Like, I think he's on some next level shit where he's like, I'm gonna wear blue to this, and I think it's a decision that he makes, knowing that it's gonna cause controversy, it's gonna stir up articles and take away attention from whatever the fuck situation he's at. Which this Pope's fuck.
I was skeptical. At first, I was skeptical, but it turns out you're 100% right, because at some point he admitted it.
Yeah, he playing said, chess when everyone's still playing checkers.
Well, he just wants the attention. So he said to Doug Burgum, who ran for president and then dropped out and endorsed him, he was like, Doug's a real nice guy. He's a real great guy, but he doesn't know anything about controversy. He doesn't get any controversy. Sometimes you need a little controversy, don't you, folks? And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my God, Corin was right. He really, like this whole thing with this, like he's not listening to the Supreme Court. And now every time he's interviewed about it, he's like, my lawyers told me we're following the order perfectly. And then somebody explains to him and like quotes the Supreme Court how you're supposed to facilitate the return of this guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I leave it to my lawyers, and my lawyers say, and it's like, you're not actually saying what you think. You know you're violating it, and you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. It's all part of his master plan, man.
Fucking horrible. It's so terrible. I just want to stop living through history. Can't we just have some normal ass times?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't be fun if shit wasn't just kind of like.
I don't want fun. I'm done with fun.
Yeah, no.
It's as fun as like a roller coaster that's fucking way too aggressive. Like, I'm good. I don't need to be on this bitch.
Yeah. It's fascinating that every new story is something that's just like something you've never seen before. It's like, yeah. I mean, the guy's incredible. I kind of been fucking with him a lot this episode, which is like, hopefully people don't clip this out and turn me into a Trump supporter. But like, if I was at that funeral, I would have been falling asleep at that shit too, low-key.
To be fair, I didn't see the video. I don't know if he actually fell asleep. But
Yeah,
that
I don't
picture
know. If
looked like he was sleeping.
Definitely, like the video I saw, he's like, Melania is even looking at him.
There was a video of it?
There's a video, yeah.
Oh, okay. I only saw the picture. I saw the picture with his eyes sort of closed and his mouth open.
He was like he dozed off for a hot second. And Melania's looking like on some like, what are you doing type shit. So like
he's another one who never sleeps. Like at night. Like he never sleeps at night. And that fucks you up, bro. That fucks you up.
Yeah. Quickly, do they pick a new pope right away? Do you know?
They have some weird ass process where they all get together.
Shit, like...
they do some black smoke bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how long it takes. But whoever this one is not going to be as good as the last one. That's for damn sure.
The other one was good. But I saw a funny video. It was like kids sitting on their couch, and it was like the Pope draft, and it was kind of like the NFL draft.
I saw that too.
And one of them was like,
funny.
Shador Sanders.
The new Pope, Shador Sanders. And they were like, oh.
So he got prank called too, right?
No, I didn't see that.
They prank called him round 1, and he thought he was getting drafted by the Saints.
Oh my God.
And he had like a new phone. Nobody had the number. And it turned out that the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, his son, a 21-year-old kid, was like, saw his dad's email with all the phone numbers, called him and said he was like the GM of the Saints. And then at the end of the call he was like, you got to wait a little bit longer, dude, or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yes, he got pranked. It was so fucked up. Like, I kind of felt bad for him there.
Yeah, also, I feel bad about that.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
All right, bro. A lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if this is going around. Is this a viral thing? Like, could 100 men beat a gorilla?
I saw somebody tweet some shit like that.
Like every tweet I see now is that shit, and I think a fucking 100 men, I think, could beat up a gorilla. I'll just put that shit there. I think 100 guys.
I'll close on disagreeing. I don't think that shit.
A gorilla could fuck up 100 people?
Hell yeah, gorillas are fucking just brolic as fuck.
They'll just maul through
and they don't feel like, it's not like it'll feel pain if you punch it. It'll eat that shit.
That's true. Even if you're like beating it down, it'll still just maybe 100 people is a lot of fucking people.
It's not, but how do you even how's that even possible to have 100 people beat it up? Like, the most you could do at any given time is like 4.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true. Yeah,
it'd be like a line of people waiting to get their asses kicked.
yeah.
You know,
And I would be shook to jump on that motherfucker because that fucking a gorilla. Yeah, you're right. A gorilla's a beast, but 100. There's a lot of fucking people.
somebody was like, they just got to be committed. Somebody said that. They're like, I think 100 could beat a gorilla. They just got to be committed to it.
Is that a new sweater? Or is that the same shit you wore last week? 'Cause
No, no,
that's
no.
fly too.
It's just a Nike
Yeah, I like
hoodie.
that.
Thank you. I've had it for some years.
All right. Love you, bro.
All right, love you too, man.
Peace.
Peace, everybody.
Oh.